Take flight. Marc D with the C's got the key to life. Retro toys and comics we adore. TV and movies, let's explore. Sunday Night Geekery, it's the place to be. With Marc D with the C, let your nerd run free. Old school vibes and stories untold. Tune in. Out, let the magic unfold.
Hey everyone, welcome to Sunday Night Geekery, and we've got a special Mother's Day edition here, number 174. But yeah, we're that's always good. We have Sunday night, so we'll always hit that Mother's Day holiday, which is awesome. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there, and happy birthday, happy Mother's Day again to my mom and my in-laws. Yep. So sorry about the late start. I kept trying to get Rumble to work, and usually I boomer all this stuff, but Rumble was not working. It kept creating streams and trying to share the stream, and said you have no stream scheduled. And it's like, oh, it's driving me crazy. So we're not rumbling tonight, but we are on. So I just put it on. You can do up to three places. So we're on Twitch tonight, which typically I just do the gaming streams on Twitch. But hopefully we got some people on Twitch out there. But let's say hi to everyone, and I think a lot of people are hanging out here. So Gap After Dark is here. Hail Gap After Dark. The great Brian Hepburn. Hail Brian. JT Kirk. Hey JT. Claude Saline. Let's see who else is here. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Yep, plenty of sports highlights this weekend. And, of course, shout out to that 70s Rock fan. His Dallas Stars. When I left, they had a 3-goal lead. Let's see. And we went to have dinner. But, they did win by 3 goals. They, sometimes I dreaded 3-goal lead. So they're up 2-1 on the Winnipeg Jets, who had the best regular season in the NHL, but of course that doesn't matter. Look what happened to the Rangers last year. Now this year they're not even in the playoffs. So hail to Daniel. Let's see here who else is in the chat. The Dead Man is here. Hey, Dead Man. Everyone's saying hi to everyone. All right. So no co-host tonight, but hopefully some of our buddies will pop in. You never know, right? We always have big crew of rotating people that pop in and out. Of course, it's Mother's Day weekend too, so I'm sure that people are with mom or traveling or whatever. So we'll see who pops in, but hopefully we'll have someone stop in, so you won't get too bored with just me. But but I hope everyone was able to hang out with their mom. And of course, I know people out there, of course, have lost their mom too. So extra special shout out to you. That makes it a tough day, but we just want to celebrate all those great moms. And we'll talk. I think we'll talk a little bit about moms and in pop culture a little bit. But I did get to see the Thunderbirds. No, that's the Thunderbolts. Yep, Thunderbolts. Yep. So did get to see that. So going to talk a little bit about that. And I did. Spoiler alert! I did like the movie. So I don't know. Is anyone in the chat? Well, here, let's do a poll. It's always good to do a poll. Let's see. Engage with your audience. Let's see here. Start a poll. Let's see. Have you seen? Let's just start. Let's rate have you seen the Thunderbolts? Yep. Let's see. Seen the Thunderbolts with an asterisk there, right? Yeah, that's that smart marketing ploy that they did. Genius marketing, calling them now the New Avengers. But let's see. Yes, no, add option. Could not care less. All right. So yeah, just wondering how many people have seen the Thunderbolts and an option planning ongoing. Yep. Oh, let me put that one last year. Let's see. Let's do this one. Planning. And I heard they brought Snow White back to theaters and didn't do too well either. All right. Okay, start poll. All right. It'd be interesting to see how many people have seen it. Oh, hey, Maddie's daddy, and great to see you. Hope you got to see Maddie today. Yep. So let's pull up why not pull up some pictures of the Thunderbolts here. And of course, I'm a huge fan of the Thunderbolts from the comics, and haven't read their latest stuff, but I mean, God, I think it's one of the best series, modern-y series, to quote our buddy, our dear departed Clobbering Times. And actually, let's Steve is here, so let's play. Well, first of all, let's start this.
I just love Clobbering Time.
And we've got Steve here. Oh, hey, look who's here. Tom is here. Awesome. Oh, if I can get that to work. There we go. There, hey. Tom is here now. I'm new to this YouTube thing.
That's all right. Thought I'd stop in for a little bit.
Oh, appreciate it. Yeah, glad you could stop by. Yep. So I hope you had a good day today.
Not bad.
Not bad. Yep. End up doing anything special, or just
went over to Mom, fed her, gave her some flowers, threw a card at her.
The usual. Yep. Chocolate. Yeah. Chocolate sometimes works too. Yeah. No chocolate.
I fed her dinner. So, but no, yeah. So that went well. And other than that, no, I edited a video. That's about it. So.
Yep, just the usual.
But I heard you didn't like the Thunderbolts New Avengers thing.
Well, I don't like the. Well, I did. No, I did like the movie. I just think the marketing thing is ridiculous.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Things I don't like about it. But did you like? I've been watching.
I haven't seen streams, but Andre said it was the best of the worst Marvel films. Yeah. And it had a jump this weekend, or not a jump, but it maintained fairly well, I guess, from the reports this weekend. And I'm like, this is y'all's fault for saying it was a good movie.
Yeah, the best of the worst. Yeah. So, well, actually, you know what? Let's call up. We love spreadsheets on Sunday Night Geekery because we're geeks and nerds. Let me call up. I had the MCU list. We got chats. Yeah. But let's see. Was it? What do I call it? It was MCU movies ranked, and this is Clobbering Times. I believe was it this spreadsheet? Let's see here. Nope, that's comic book movie. I got so many spreadsheets. But Clobby had ranked all his movies. Of course, we don't know where he would put this one, but we could just put it, show everyone the downfall, I guess, of Marvel, really, which is sad, right? In terms of how high they were, in terms of, what's bigger in cinema in the last 20 years, right? Nothing. So, yeah, it's just, Marvel's movies are rated. Here we go. All right, let me pull this over. So it is. I mean, God, we were all looking forward to seeing the next Marvel movie, and now I think this is a victim. This movie is partly a victim of people not caring about the MCU anymore. Like this has been in. This is a far better movie than the Captain Marvel movie. So this movie would have made $1 billion if it in that.
Yeah, but a root canal is better than that.
Right. And of course the MCU was just the hottest thing going, right? So everyone was going to see every MCU movie, right? Like you didn't go see this movie, right? But if you thought that in the middle, like typically you would have made your way, right? You'd have made an extra effort to go see something like this. I'm saying, oh, we got Paulie in the house. He's saying, why, Tom? Lame. He's going after you. So I don't know if Tom's got a response to Paulie there. I'm sure he does. He's
the question isn't why, it's who and when. I don't know what he's saying why to.
Why didn't you go see the movie, or I'm not sure. Yep. You got to elaborate.
I haven't seen too many Marvel movies. I mean, I've seen Deadpool, Wolverine, Spider-Man, No Way Home, But since I got screwed over by Love and Thunder and Multiverse of Madness, I have not been back for the major ones. I mean, I skipped out on like Eternals and Shang-Chi, stuff that didn't really matter overall, and I don't feel like I've missed anything. I still haven't seen Ant-Man 3, even though I liked the first one. I didn't hate the second one, but I mean, we're at this point where there's probably more bad Marvel films than there are good Marvel films. I'm sure I'm not the first person to point that out, but why am I on this stream? Because I got nothing better to do and I'm a loser.
Because this stream is awesome. That's why, right?
No, I'm just kidding. No, because my night is over already. I finished editing and I didn't do a stream, so I'm here and I thought I'd spend some time with Mark. You got a problem? You jelly? You want some peanut butter for that?
You can come in, Paul. You got the link, on the
Twitter.
You
can hop in.
Yeah, hop in. Yep.
You got to scroll up a ways. I had to send out a search party for the link, but
it's the same.
I know, but I had to go way back to get it.
Oh yeah, let me put it back in the group again.
No worries.
I always forget.
But I mean, really, if we go down this list, I mean, how many of these films are above average, if not, most of them are average to less than at this point. So
yeah, that's the
even movies like Black Panther. I feel like were overrated at the time they came out.
I really did not like Black Panther. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think it was a social aspect to that, obviously. Black Panther.
There was, and I'm not saying it's a bad film per se, but I'm saying a lot of people gave it.
It wasn't movie of the year.
No, and it did not deserve to get Oscar nominations and all that kind of bullshit.
That was ridiculous. Yeah.
Honestly, it's like if it did, I'd be honest with it. But like the only movie I would ever say in the last 20, 30 years that deserves an Oscar nomination is the only one that's ever gotten it. That's The Dark Knight. There has been nothing that's come really that close. Maybe Infinity Wars came really damn close.
Yeah.
Like
Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier.
Yeah, either one of those two I could have understood if they got Oscar nominations of some kind. But outside of that, look, these movies, they're popcorn films. They're failing at entertaining us now. That's their main goal, or at least that should be their main goal, instead of teaching us,
Yeah, it's just and it was such a hugely successful run too, where you were like, my wife would say, oh, she want to go see the Infinity War was out. She was even into it too, to a certain extent, where it was just part of the pop culture, where you were going to see those Marvel movies that weekend. It didn't matter what. You weren't missing those wars, the Infinity War, the build up there to those movies were phenomenal. So and Deadman says the opening sequence in Black Panther was pretty awesome. What was the opening sequence in Panther? Was that the car chase, or was that stealing the vibranium? I'm trying to remember what the opening sequence was. I just didn't like the Killmonger's character relation to Black Panther. Was almost hey, Paulie's in the house. Hey, Paulie. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, we can't hear you. He's got to fix his mic. Yep. That's my superpower. Not having my mic work. You're stealing my superpower. Yeah. But I can't remember what was the opening to Panther, but I just didn't like the Killmonger character. I think they made Black Panther actually rooting for Killmonger in some ways, and I thought that they actually should have had that as a two-part movie where Killmonger, took over Wakanda, and then the second movie, Black Panther is fighting to take back the throne, and I thought they resolved it a little bit way too quickly. So, but and Steve says, yeah, in my opinion, Winter Soldier is the best Marvel movie. Yep. Oh, the car. Yeah, the car.
I love Winter Siege. Sorry, I was just gonna say I love Winter Soldier, but I always feel like people never give enough credit to the first Captain America and how solid it was.
Check.
Now we hear you.
Hey, we got Paulie. Good.
All right. What's up?
Hey, great to see you.
Did you get a new mic, or is that just you don't have your thing on it, or
no? It's the same mic. I was testing the stream yesterday on my laptop because we're gonna start doing some live streams in my backyard.
Why do I think you had a different mic?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So now your stream, Mark, is cool. It's not lame.
Now it's a cool stream. Now we'll all turn our cameras on and make it even more.
Yeah, but
cool.
see, you're not wearing a purple Donatello shirt. See, so that trumps anything you just said.
Because I'm just wearing my fucking guns, dog.
Oh.
Well, the gun show is that way.
No, I always love Tommy shirts. What's up, fellas?
Oh, doing good. Had a good day with mom and my mother-in-law today. Yep.
Yeah,
so that was
Mom's
important.
Day.
Yep, Mom's Day today.
Yeah.
So
my mom is my mom's fine. It's just that she's not 100%. So we're gonna see her Tuesday, and then Romy wanted burgers and a ball cap. So that's what I got her today. Burgers and a ball cap.
There you go. She's a happy lady.
So
and we're lucky that they put up with us. Yep.
Yeah. So
well, today my wife wanted to. She didn't want any gifts. She wanted us to work on the yard and plant flowers. So we went to Home Depot, bought a lot of flowers and plants, and planted and worked on the yard all day. So I got a little sunburned and got some good exercise in. But we were tired. But God bless her. That's what she wanted. So, but the yard does look a lot better. So it's
nice. Yeah,
so,
I mean, I do that every day because we gotta keep the upkeep of the front yard and the backyard sharp because we got doggy and human clients coming over every day. You know what I mean?
So it's got to look good. Yeah, and we've put in some new flower beds and stuff, and we're upgrading. Yeah, so it does look good. Yep.
Nice day, man.
Yep.
So I think we kind of like ate too much. Like we didn't eat too much. We just ate a lot. So it's like I don't think we're eating again tonight.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're 3 hours earlier. Yeah. So yeah. Well, we'll do the foodery later, but we did have some good steaks and food tonight. But yeah.
Ooh, nice. We're gonna have a so we're gonna live stream Friday, and we're gonna barbecue.
And you're gonna live stream from the backyard.
Yeah, right after the live stream.
Nice.
We'll have a couple people here. We're just gonna do a little barbecue, not a big one.
Just a nice little one, yeah, yep.
What were we talking about?
So, we were on talking about just like the apathy of Marvel movies. So I was saying Thunderbolts would have done a lot better in the box office. It's an easy take, but if it had been, say you put through this movie in where Captain Marvel was, this movie's making $1 billion.
I mean,
more. I think it would have done, or even a little bit better, maybe, because it's a decent movie. I mean, it's got some good points to it. I thought I enjoyed it. I had fun in the cinema.
I think it'd be like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
it's still a good little flick. You know, I just wasn't crazy about it. I know people that are. Chado loved it, right, Tom?
I stepped away for 5 minutes or a minute, and Paulie made a comment about the yard, and I totally missed a Mexican joke there. That is so not fair.
Yeah,
so not fair.
I know, man.
I
teed it up for you.
I know. I missed. I'm like, damn it! I'm like, way on the other side of the room. No. What was the question? No, I haven't seen.
No, I was basically saying that Thunderbolts was good. Would have been good 10 years ago.
It definitely could have made $1 billion 5-10 years ago, but now I think it's too late. I think maybe it'll be lucky to tap out somewhere around 4 or 5. It might be lucky just because it's not as bad as the worst Marvel films.
I think because of what's coming up, it's not going to hit 4. It's doing pretty good. It's doing pretty good.
You could be right.
I think even this weekend coming up, there's Final Destination. I think Final Destination is going to take a lot of its money. Are they here? Okay, so I'll be back in about 5-10 minutes max.
Yeah, he's got a point with that. But so how did it do this weekend so far? What's the early?
Let's check the box office mojos. But let's.
I don't think these are
it was up,
yet,
and I was actually camping this weekend on Saturday with a lot of the scouts, and a bunch of the scouts really liked it. So let's see what the weekly was here. So Thunderbolts, that's a Sunday, 10 million. Let's click on it here. So domestic 128.
Yeah, it didn't do that bad then.
Yeah, so let's see. So it was up. Friday was up How could it have been up on Friday? That's impressive.
From Thursday.
From Thursday. Oh, from Thursday. That's just
Yeah.
the day to
The
day
daily.
up. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, day to day up. Not
But
from
I mean, last
Friday,
week it did 31, 24, 17. Did 9, 13, 10. So the week drop off was not so good on Friday. Did drop 71%, but Friday or Saturday and Sunday
went up.
It's under 50%. In fact, on Sunday, if that holds, that's almost that might even be a record for. But I don't know what it'll average out for the weekend. But if it holds somewhere above 50%, that's pretty good for a Marvel film. So I don't know if it deserves it or not, but
yeah, so it would have made over the weekend 32 million this weekend versus of course it made 32 million on opening day.
Well, and that Friday, here's the problem with that Friday. That Friday includes the Thursday night, what was it? 8 or 9 million preview.
Yeah. The midnight shows and everything else. Yep. And Hail to Mr. Angel and Timey Wimey Limey and Tim.
So actually, looking at this, it actually had its upturn on Saturday night because Friday it didn't make that much. It only made because if you take away like 10 million there,
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it only did like 20 million on Friday, but then it went up technically another 5 million somewhere in there, or a couple million at least. I'd have to go look at the exact math, but because I can't remember what it did Thursday, but I knew it was somewhere between 8 and 10. I can't remember the exact number.
Well, Thursday was 4.2 million. Yeah.
Yeah, so it had an
you're talking about the
original Thursday. See, that's what they did with that Friday. That's why they don't have Thursday theirs, because they just combine the number.
Yeah, they combine it. Yeah.
I can't remember how much it did. I think it did like 8 or 9, maybe 10 on Thursday night. So again, it still went up a little bit, and that's not bad. And then Sunday wasn't much of a fall off from there.
Yeah, so I think that it's getting some good word of mouth. And it is a good little movie. I mean, it's not. I mean, I know. Yeah. Hey, if you don't like it, or some people really
did the guys on FNT like it? Because if they did, there's your effect right there.
I think some of them like it. Was split. I think Gary didn't really like it, but I think some of the guys did like it. Chato liked it. Paulie thought it was okay. I think from his reviews. So yeah, it's not a bad movie. Like if you want, but it's not like it's not Avengers blow me away. This is incredible, greatness. But I did like the heart of the story. I thought it wasn't just shoot 'em up. Let's hey, we've got to find the MacGuffin, right? And once we get that MacGuffin, hey, then we're going to save the universe. So it was more about the spirit of the characters, the heart of the characters, and I thought that part with the Sentry and going in the void, the darkness, I thought that those parts were well done. It wasn't just a standard, hey, let's just smash things and break things and see how it goes, right? So that I know you haven't seen it, but I thought that part was interesting. I mean, they're all B tier characters, but of course they had a huge success with Guardians of the Galaxy. Who would have thought that movie would have been a good movie? So I thought there were some really nice moments, and Wyatt Russell is good as USA agent. Spoiler alert, they kill the Taskmaster, not the Taskmaster. So right away she's gone. Pullman as the Sentry was good, and Florence Pugh. I think she's the star of the movie, and I think she does a pretty good job, carrying the show there.
Bill Pullman's kid or something like that?
I wonder. Here, let me see if I
think I read that somewhere or something.
He looks like him. Let's see. Oh, son of actor Bill Pullman. Yeah, Game Over, man. Yeah, so Bill Pullman actually was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and he played a version of Deathlock, and he actually died trying to get transformed into a Deathlock character on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That's right. Yeah, now that I didn't even think of that, but yeah, he does look like him, obviously. Yeah. So he was good. David Harbour, I think, is hysterical. Of course, there's no Baron Zemo in it. And I think you really do. I miss having that Rachel Weisz character. Who did she play in the last in the Black Widow movie? She was really good.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, did you see? I can't remember now. You said you saw.
I saw it, but I barely remember. I'm trying to remember who she played.
Vostov, yeah, Melania Voskov. But that was hysterical when they had that dinner table scene and
oh, that's right. She was okay. Yeah, she was like the mom. Yeah,
the mom. Yeah, she's like get a room already, you two. That was, but that was not a good. Not a good
I like
movie.
the first half or so of Black Widow, and then it's like the ending is almost like a. Sorry, I just made some food.
I'm never going to argue with someone eating food. Go for it.
But the ending is almost like a comment on the entire like Marvel universe at that point, because it's just falling for about 45 minutes, and it's like that's not how gravity works.
Yeah, when
and nobody gets killed, really. It's like
she's jumping like through the air on Ray. It was totally ridiculous. Yeah, she's got no and hail to Tom Baker. Hey, the great fourth Doctor is in the house. But there was no the logic of that movie was ridiculous. I mean,
now if it was Iron Man, maybe because he can fly around, right? Like or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, so some of the character themes there were good and I enjoyed, and I think I gave that movie like a B. In the B range, but and of course it was the first time back in the movie theater after the vid, so that was it was nice just to get back. But that's another movie that should have been happened 10 years ago, before Black Widow would actually, she was dead in the Marvel universe. Hey, Maddie's daddy's in the house.
Greetings, everybody.
Greetings. Well, you're here, so I've got to play this again. Hey, and I know you didn't see this movie either, right, Steve? You did not see
no
Thunderbolts. I'm not going out on a limb there to say that, right?
Yeah, Marvel hasn't really done it for me. Actually, no superhero movies have done it for me, and I would say since Infinity War, and even that was just okay. So yeah, I thought, like I said in the chat, I thought Winter Soldier was probably their best movie. It's definitely sort of a throwback to the action thrillers of the 70s, like 7 Days of the Condor and Marathon Man. And even sort of the Manchurian Candidate, which they referenced. So I have always thought that's why they put Robert Redford in it, because everyone has said for years that had they made Marvel in the 70s, Robert Redford would have played Captain America. So I thought that was a nice little circle there. But Tom said that people don't give enough credit. I think it was Tom that said they don't give enough credit to Captain America, the First Avenger, and I totally agree. I think that's the one movie where you love the guy before he becomes a superhero, right?
Yeah.
Right.
When Steve jumps on the hand grenade, you don't want him to die. Like, you're worried for a second, even though you realize it's a comic book movie. It's
still too skinny. Makes me want to cry.
Take a needle on that kid's arm, it'll go right through.
Tommy Lee Jones in that movie. Every line he's got, he put that needle in his arm, it's gonna go right through.
I'm not gonna kiss you. Yeah,
I ain't gonna kiss you.
Yeah, those I don't know if they were written just for him or if he just delivers every line that well, but it was really, really good. So,
and then you got what's his face says it Stanley Tucci, I think, who plays the doctor. He's great in it.
So good.
Yeah, he's good too. Yep.
Yeah, I really.
And his whole speech about I chose you because you weren't big, because all I would do is just make a bully a bigger bully, basically. I'm paraphrasing, but
yeah, that's his line.
Yeah, totally. And
although
then
I do have to point out there is some scene of unapproved groping in that movie, because when Steve Rogers gets the super soldier serum, and then that was she was not supposed to grab his chest, right? So that was she
just touched it. She didn't actually grab or grope.
Well, I'm calling that a grab. I'm calling that an unapproved grab. Come on,
women know what she was doing.
Yeah, right. So so when Chris Evans is getting touched there without consent, right? We're joking because it's just
I'm sure.
I know you are too. But yeah. So when
She knows what she was doing.
But the funny thing was, I read that, of course, no one would say anything. But if it was the other way around, though, could you imagine if she'd got turned into Agent Carter, and then I mean, not Agent Carter, turned into a super soldier, like in the when they did those the what ifs, and Steve Rogers had grabbed her in the chest. I just always thought it was funny that that when she did that, when Haley Atwell's Peggy Carter did that, no one said. Of course, it's a guy, just being toxic. Yeah,
but he wouldn't have done it because Steve Rogers has those kind of old school morals.
Yeah.
Mark has heard me pontificate on this before, that one of the reasons I like Captain America is not just because he risks his life every day and one bullet could take him out. He risks his life for people he doesn't know, but he also did it because it was the right thing to do. He had those old world, because in World War II, a lot of guys lied about their age to get into Army,
just to fight. Yeah.
Right. And he didn't have to have his Uncle Ben killed or his parents murdered in Crime Alley, or the fixer kill his dad. I mean, the list just goes on and on about why, the modus, the raison d'etre, if I can throw in some gratuitous French there. The reason for being, is
don't swear at us like that.
I'm sorry?
Don't swear at us like that.
Well, you speak some French, so, but
it's just because it's in another language and fancy doesn't make it better.
Au contraire. Sorry. That was perfect, Tom.
That was good.
But yeah, I mean, he's like everybody else. They have to set up their story with, he's Batman because his parents are murdered. He's Spider-Man because his uncle got killed on his watch. Daredevil's dad got killed by the fixer. The list goes on and on and on. Captain America does it because it's the right thing to do. And that's how they should write Superman.
He's just Thor, a good guy at heart. Yeah.
Yeah. Thor isn't the counterpart of Superman. Captain America is. He's a good guy because he's a good guy. He doesn't need a reason to do it. So anyway, so those are some of my reasons. But I definitely think that Winter Soldier is probably their best movie. Although I did like all the Captain America movies.
Yeah, so let's look at let's go back to our spreadsheet here because we got a spreadsheet. So,
how engineering of you?
Yeah, I got to get my slide rule out, and of course we'll sort them by Clobberin times. That was a show they did with Retro Blasting, Clobberin times. So I'd put all their rankings down, and let's see, am I missing any movies here? So I'd listed Fantastic Four. Now we've got the So Fantastic Four was supposed to be out before the Thunderbolts way back when. So this is phase 5, I guess now. This ridiculous phase stuff that they have in these movies. I guess this is considered Marvel phase 5. Let's see. I think, right? Hey, DJ Knight. And I like Timey Wimey Limey's line says, at least they buy Cap dinner first, right? Yeah. So they're saying Marvel wrapped up phase 5 with the movie Thunderbolts. This is end of phase 5, I guess. So Fantastic Four will be phase 6, I guess. So let me change my order of movies here. So 34, and this would have been, I guess, 35. Am I missing any Marvel movies in between here? Let's see. Yeah, Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania. So that's phase. Well, they're calling that phase 5 now, right? Let's see. So let me change this to phase 5. You got to fix the spreadsheet here. You got to be correct here. And I guess it was Guardians of the Galaxy. They're considering that phase 5 too, right? And then Secret Invasion, Echo, Deadpool and Wolverine. I guess I got to add that. That's not. I guess it's Disney. It is a Disney movie. I just think of that as a Fox movie, even though So let's add Deadpool and Wolverine to that list. Yep. Deadpool and Wolverine. So, and Brian says phase meh.
Oh no, this was phase dive.
Phase
the last phase was phase bore,
right?
And then phase 3 was like phase re, but yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
We lost somebody. We lost Ed.
Did we lose? We lose. Who's here? Oh, Steve pop. Yeah, I had the other screen up, so I couldn't see. Oh, Steve, come back! Come back for. There he is. Yep.
Sorry, I got frozen.
That's okay. Yep.
By Captain. That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's see here. This list of Marvel Cinematic Universe films. So I gotta update. I haven't updated this. You gotta have the correct spreadsheet. So phase 3 was Cap Civil War, and then ended with Spider-Man Far From Home, and of course Endgame. And then the phase 4 is the multiverse side. I think people are sick of these multiverse. It's multiverse crap. So
I am.
Yeah. We have Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Spidey No Way Home, Doc Strange. That ended up losing money. I was just reading now too, right? That the Multiverse of Madness did not make money. Then Love and Blunder, and Wakanda Forever. And then, so phase 5 is Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania. So terrible movie, just horrible. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which I did like. I thought that was a good movie. Then we had the Marvels, and that was out in. Oh, let me correct my spreadsheet now. So this is interesting because this spreadsheet was done years ago. So it was supposed to come out. Okay, not that much off. So February 2023. So, but it's actually came out November 10th, so not that far off. All right. Then we got Deadpool and Wolverine 2024. And I'll fill in how much money it made. Of course, that made over $1 billion, right? Deadpool and Wolverine. That was a huge.
It did very well.
That had to have gone over $1 billion bucks, right?
I almost don't even count that as Marvel,
right?
Yeah, because it was.
But it is. I mean, and it does technically take place in the Marvel universe, and this is supposed to be the de facto Deadpool and Wolverine we're going to have in the Marvel universe going forward, or whatever.
Yeah, but it's the continuation of when they were under was it Fox? No, it wasn't.
Yeah, Tom is right, but I was almost thinking the same way myself too. Like I think of it as a Fox movie, but technically it is a Disney movie.
It's more of a Disney film than Spider-Man, even technically in some ways. But I mean, they're all made by the same people. That's the thing. The only reason this one's even probably more separate is because this is one of the first Marvel movies where you had another producer besides Kevin Feige and Ryan Reynolds, right? That he had control. Yep. And that's going to be, I guess, the same thing or the same kind of deal that Robert Downey Jr. is getting for the next Avengers film too.
But Tom, don't you think that with all the language that Disney Marvel never would have greenlit the first one?
Probably not, and they didn't really technically greenlit this. Chapek did.
Yeah, well, that's why I only sort of.
But it's the biggest hit they had. But I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's still references, and it's still in there. I mean, they retroact, and now everything is retroactively being brought back in through that, like all the X-Men and all that stuff. And then the next Avengers film, we're even going to have a bunch of the old Fox men in it. So the literal old Fox men,
right? Aren't they going to bring back Xavier?
To die again, I'm sure.
To die again, right? Yep.
They've killed him now more times than Uncle Ben.
Right.
Well, assuming Patrick Stewart, I mean, I don't want to be cruel.
He's on the list.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm assuming he lives that long. He's looking pretty rough.
Yeah. I mean, they're already technically shooting it, so. But I mean, he was even in Multiverse of Madness and all that kind of business too. I get what you guys are saying. I mean, are they outliers? Do you have to have seen them to probably get the bigger, grander scheme of things? Probably not. But I mean, that's where I'm like looking at these movies back at this now. And that's the bigger problem is as much fun as it was having an interconnected universe like this, the Marvel shows have really made it crush under the weight of itself. We were starting to see that as we were getting into these later phases here too, because I knew sooner or later the audience was going to start doing the same things that nerds do. Is like, well, why doesn't this character just come in? Why doesn't this character just come in? And it's like, well, yeah, because we at least understand that there's, money involved, and you got to get the actor to sign up, and the scheduling and all that kind of business. But I mean, they're just making everything too big. Like Avengers, the next one, if it doesn't make like over $1 billion, like close to $2 billion, I don't think it's going to be profitable because of how much money they're just spending right out the bat on Robert Downey Jr. and the Russos. And then look at the cast they got. Even if they're small cameos, they're still probably going to get paid pretty good. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then there's the rumors of the other ones that are still in it. It's like, I don't know. This is going to be like cameo porn, the movie. We've bitched about that too in the next films.
Yeah.
The ironic thing to me is Robert Downey Jr., I read, demands $60 million a movie. 60. And Mark may remember this, but I don't know if you do, Tom. The last movie that he made before Iron Man, before the CG guys were able to make that believable. Do you remember what his last movie was before that?
No.
He played the bad guy, the villain, in the Tim Allen remake of The Shaggy DA. I mean, that career was over.
Oh, yeah. No, like I've been one of those people that's pointed out that Robert Downey Jr. never really had a major A-list career, right?
No,
outside of a couple movies that he starred in, which were smaller films. And his biggest film probably was Chaplin, as far as like critical praise and Oscars and all that kind of business. Otherwise, financially, I'm trying to think of the only movie. I can't think of any movie that he probably said that's been
comedy
big.
Where it was a really over the top, sad teenage comedy. What was that?
Less Than Zero? Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, Less Than Zero. Yeah.
That was probably one of his more well known, but like still lesser indie kind of films. And he was in things
Dad
like,
was an indie filmmaker too.
Yeah, so. And I mean, he was in things like Back to School, and he was always playing like the friend and the sidekick, like he did the Mel Gibson movie,
Air America.
Yeah, and I mean, he did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and a few other movies as he got along, but he just never quite caught that momentum.
Yeah.
Heart and Souls was probably his other bigger film as far as like they gave him a shot at another, and that was probably post Chaplin, if I remember right. And that's probably why he got that one. But yeah,
I mean, on TV, Ally McBeal, he had that big breakdown on Ally McBeal, and they fired him from Ally McBeal, and then.
Well, and I used to make the joke. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. went from the guy who fell asleep in kids' beds drunk to being the guy on kids' beds.
Yeah, right.
Now every kid in America has Iron Man on their bed. You know what I mean?
Like they'll have the Iron Man bedspread. Yeah. And hail to Donnie. Sorry, guys, I was spreadsheeting, so I was I never ignore the chat.
And just for those who have no idea what I'm talking about, Robert Downey Jr. didn't do anything with a kid. What happened was,
yes,
he stumbled into somebody's house, just fucked up completely, and I don't think their kid was home or the kid wasn't sleeping in the bed. Yeah, and he just crashed in the kid's bed, and then like the 911 call is kind of funny. Because it's out there. You can probably find it still. It's just this guy, as calm as can be. He's like, yeah, there's a guy who kind of just broke in my house and he fell asleep in my kid's bed. And
did Marc D do something like that?
I think he's Robert Downey Jr., the actor.
Safety tip, don't do that. Yep. Don't do that in Texas, especially. Yep.
John Belushi used to do that shit all the time. I don't know if you've ever heard that. He'd go knocking on people's doors, though.
Yeah.
He would just go knocking on a door.
He was on Nantucket, or what were they filming? 1941. I'm trying to remember. It was Animal House.
Yeah, he did it in that one, and he did it in Blues Brothers and Animal House, because he would try to get away from first of all, if they were trying to take away his drugs.
Yeah.
And not just the paparazzi, but he just tried to get away from everybody else. And he just didn't want to do something or whatever. And so he'd get tired or too strung out on whatever, and he'd just go knocking on people's doors. He's like, hey, you know who I am? Yeah? Can I come in and make a sandwich? Okay.
Cheeseburger. And hail to Lenrod and E. Clay. Hey, guys.
And DJ Night. I hope this isn't too much of a tangent, but I don't know if anybody saw Bill Murray on the Joe Rogan podcast.
I saw some of it. I haven't got to see the whole thing yet.
It's a little bit of a spoiler, I guess, but it's very interesting because he was talking about
the John Belushi thing I did here, if that's what you
mean. Robert Woodward's book about John Belushi, and he said he read like 5 pages of it, and he was like, none of this is true. And he said, oh my God, they framed Nixon. Which is
I think I saw that clip. Yeah,
that's
that was kind of out there.
Yeah.
I mean,
like
he's only saying the thing that a lot of people thought for the longest time. Because I'll tell you what, because those guys, well, at least the one of them, I can't remember which one, but he was always on fucking CNN. Yeah, it's like, this is no way this is the guy. And like, there's no way, right? And I've seen the movie. And it's like, they didn't really do anything. They just got lucky, right? Like, that's, it could have been anybody. Anybody who got chosen to Deep Throat would have chose, right? You know what I mean? It's all because of Deep Throat. Like, so at the end of the day, and then who's to say that Deep Throat wasn't lying about half the shit? Like,
and plus, it was just not to minimize it. Yeah, it was campaign shenanigans.
Yeah, it was campaign. It's nothing that the Democrats hadn't done to. I mean, I'm not trying to.
Or what today would people do through computer hacking? So God, Nixon would have loved today. Like, you don't have to break in. So the way they got caught was Gordon Liddy. They'd put some tape on the door, and the security guard was actually pretty good. That he caught the piece of tape that was holding the bolt closed, so it wouldn't shut. So when they wouldn't lock again, so they could get out. So that's how they got caught. But yeah,
it's so stupid. I refuse to believe what they say. I think Forrest Gump called it in.
Yeah, but that isn't Forrest Gump. Yeah, they did that. But like when you
there's some guys with flashlights across the way that keep me awake.
That's all I have to say about that.
With that,
sorry.
When you look at it though, yeah, how bad was Watergate in the grand scheme of things? Watergate was not that bad, right? I mean, come on, it was dirty.
No, not compared to some of the other shit. I mean, if anything, Nixon got was probably more. If anything, he deserved what he got more for probably being involved in JFK. Let's be fucking real. Because, I mean, I'm sure that's one of the few things that hasn't been uncovered yet that everybody knows. Everybody knows.
I mean, he was a huge anti-communist too, Nixon. So they were after him in terms of
and between the Teamsters and the CIA and everything. Yeah,
Nixon was an outsider. Actually, he grew up with nothing. I mean, he grew up. His parents, his dad owned a small market. He worked his butt off, so he always resented too the kids with the silver spoons in their mouth too. So Nixon was an outsider when you look at his upbringing.
I'm not saying he was the one who made the order, but I'm definitely saying he probably knew about it. Maybe he had something to do with it.
And Lenrod, let's see who was in the chat here saying, Lenrod's not having a good day. Well, Lenrod says, I'm depressed as all. How you doing? Well, I hope we'll cheer you up a little bit tonight, Lenrod. Hope we can get you to feel a little bit better. So I don't like hearing that with people saying that in the chat, but yeah, we'll try to cheer you up tonight. Yep.
I hope you feel better, Lenrod. I'm kind of having the same kind of weekend. I have chronic fatigue ever since I moved to Vegas. I've had chronic fatigue syndrome. My body just can't get used to this dry, hot weather. And I haven't gotten out of bed all weekend, actually, as hard as I tried. So I definitely feel your pain, buddy, and I hope, and I know it will get better. So just
and hope you're feeling better too, Steve. Yep.
Well, thanks. I mean, you guys are helping a little bit. Yeah, it's
cheer everyone up a little bit tonight if they're not feeling good. Yep.
Paint the house and go to the gym and do all this stuff, and I could not get out of bed.
Couldn't get motivated yet.
No, it's not even motivated. Chronic fatigue syndrome is no matter what you do, you're
tired.
Not just tired, but like borderline asleep, but not really asleep. And B vitamins and sun and everything that everybody caffeine, nothing works. It's just and so doctors can't figure it out. But anyway, back to the political. Let's talk about politics. No, let's talk about
yeah. Well, let me finish my spreadsheet here. So I think we got Fantastic Four First Steps. That's the first movie in Phase 6 with the non-silver silver surfette, right? Get back to my article here.
Hang on a second. Are we considering Fantastic Four 92? Was it Roger Corman movie? Are we considering that?
That doesn't count. Yeah.
Okay, just want to know where the boundaries were.
Yeah. Oh, and Time Warner said, "Oh, Junior's best role definitely in Weird Science." Oh God, I love Weird Science. Yeah, that's a great movie. Yep. But yeah, so let's see here. We got coming up. We've got well, here I'll just pull this article over here. So we've got Fantastic Four: First Steps, Avengers: Doomsday, which is looking like it could be a ridiculous mess.
I'm still not even sure if that's going to make May 1st, 2026, but it might.
Yeah, it'd be tough to do, right? And then Spider-Man: Brand New Day, and then Avengers: Secret Wars. And it's going to be nothing like this. See, this is what kills me. Like when you have the Thunderbolts movie, and it's nothing like the comic book. So, and then what do we? Oh, we have Armor Wars, and I guess now I hear they're going to recast Black Panther. Could that happen in Black Panther 3?
I don't think it's going to be recast. I think I could be wrong, but from what I'm gathering, he has a kid, and the kid will be grown up. So I don't know if there's going to be a time jump or a multiverse thing or something. Probably it may even be set up in like Avengers Endgame or something like that, perhaps.
Or they could age up a character, maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they're going to actually have him be the same guy. I think it's going to be Junior is the whole point. Okay. But yeah.
But no, because the comic books, they always find ways to age. You know, Franklin Richards has been aged up and down multiple times throughout his comic book career. Yep.
Yeah. I think they're going to, yeah, they did, you know, where Shuri and now the kid, I think they're going to try and do a few things to distance themselves from Chadwick, but not distance themselves in terms of dissing him, but to set up some things to where, okay, it's been a long time now we can recast without being disrespectful.
I just don't think I think just from what I've been hearing and seeing and reading and all that business, I just don't think it's going to be T'Challa proper. I think it's going to be T'Challa Jr.
I think that the dollar signs will, you know, especially with some more flops. This is just my guess because, you know, Disney, you know.
Well, they already killed him. That's my point. Like they killed him in the Marvel universe too. So
yeah,
but different. Yeah.
You know what they say? Well, what they used to say was, what is it? Wow. Only Batman's parents and Uncle Ben stay dead. Although the way things have been going, I can see the poster now. Uncle Ben's back and he's pissed. You know,
yeah. The only thing I'd have to see is like I could see them recasting him through a multiverse thing, but that almost seems disrespectful, right? To kill him off, only to have some multiverse version of him come back, because that's one of those things where you just like they did with fucking Harrison Ford. You just recast and you don't say anything. You know what I mean? You don't call any major attention to it.
You just made a joke about the mustache, I think, or something, right?
Yeah, something like that is fine, but
which is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, enough to kind of give the audience a wink, wink for those who may not exactly know what the hell's going on. But like, yeah, to me, they lost this idea of like that boat had sailed when they killed T'Challa in part 2. That's why I refuse to watch Wakanda Forever, even though I'm not that big of a fan of the first film. I like the character. So to me, and I said this up front, I'm like, I'm not going to go watch a 2.5 hour fucking funeral for a character. Yeah. Just not. Well, that's what most people said it basically was. So like, yeah.
Yeah. My son said it was so depressing. I watched the beginning, and then as soon as Not Namor showed up, I turned it off. I started watching it, and I'm like, it was making me so cringe induced. And that's why I leave Namor always up on my Sunday Night Geekery background.
Do they even show him at all outside of the costume or no?
I only got to the first part where he was in costume, and I'm like, I can't take it, and I turned.
Because to me, that's even more because like you almost to me would have been better off. Like this was my thing is I thought at first I'm like this is what they should do. They should not recast. They should just not have the character be an Avenger anymore. Have somebody else take the mantle, and you just say that T'Challa's doing what his dad did, and you just use like the footage from when he was like doing the press conference stuff. You just have that once in a while pop up in the background, like he's the president of Wakanda doing this and doing that. He's over here, he's over there. That would have been fine for me. But then after hearing a few of the guys talk, especially some of the black guys in our community, I agree with them. They should have recast and not said any, just had a complete recast like they did with Rhodey. Because that to me and to especially the kids that looked up to that character, that was the blow. Was let's go to a see. Can you imagine if going to see Superman 2 and he dies in the first few minutes of the movie.
Yeah. It's so depressing. Yeah.
Especially as a young kid.
Yeah, I mean, what they could have done too is had in the comics. Sure, he did become Black Panther. I think volume 3 or volume 4.
Well, if he was still alive, I think people wouldn't have as much of a problem. It was just like, it's just a temporary thing, and then you just recast him.
They
or whatever.
Disappeared him. They disappeared him in the comics. Like they can't find him or he's somewhere. So you could have out of respect, right away they said we're never going to recast this character, which was a big mistake. They just should have left it open ended and said we love.
And I like that, Mark, especially if that was in the comics, because then when you find him, right, everybody recognizes him in the movie, but then us as the audience, we know, okay, so this is our new T'Challa now, right? Like, it's just it's the same guy. It's just like Val Kilmer to Michael Keaton, which drove me nuts. Why when George Clooney showed up at the end of The Flash and nobody else. Only a few geeks like you guys understood why I said that makes no fucking sense. It's like he's the same Batman.
The same Batman, right? Yeah, it's Batman.
Just because he's played by a different. This is where things got broken. That was like one of the moments where things got broken, and I'm like, no, that's not how this works. You can't just throw another actor in there just because another actor played him in the same. It's the same universe.
The same universe.
Regardless, I know some people like to think that they're separate and somehow, but they're not.
Yeah,
they even mention things that are.
Well, yeah, because you had Robin from it's the same Robin between the two movies, right?
Well, not just that, but I mean, even Chase Meridian mentions maybe I got to have skin tight leather and whips to get your attention, basically, in so many words, right? Who the hell do you think that's a reference to?
Yeah.
Same.
Z-Clay says the Darren Stevens treatment from Bewitched, right?
Yeah. Well, they had movies. They had the same. To Tom's point about them being the same Batman, they had the same actor playing Alfred. They had the same actor playing Commissioner Gordon. They did recast Two-Face, which I think was a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, and it happens, right? I mean, and again, it works better for Batman because Batman was a lot more like James Bond at that time, right? Each movie kind of worked on its own. It didn't really build off the last movie. You didn't have to have really seen Batman to understand Batman Returns. You didn't have to see Batman and Batman Returns to understand Batman Forever. Hell, you really didn't even have to see Batman Forever to understand Batman and Robin at the end of the day. Like, it all kind of works on its own. But like once you start doing this thing where there's this huge continuity, and this is again the problem with Marvel, and where Stan Lee, regardless of how you feel about him, because I know Klobby was somebody who's had criticisms about him. Yeah. But Bobby. One thing he was right about in comic books is every comic book is some kid's first comic book. So you have to make it accessible. You can't make it so bogged down in all the nuance of the ongoing story of the universe, because otherwise you're never gonna gain new readers, and that's what's happening to the Marvel films right now.
Yeah. No one cares right now. Apathetic.
There's no easy access way into this, right? Spider-Man is an easy access character. Captain America is an easy access character. The Thunderbolts are not easy access characters because they're all secondary or third characters.
And now we haven't really talked about they're calling them the New Avengers.
New Avengers, and then let's add in the fact that only 3 of them actually have any powers.
Yeah, right. And they all just smash things.
Yeah, and they're all basically the same powers. So
yeah. So I mean, the one girl can, you get the girl that can disappear, right?
Well, isn't that part of her? That's part. She has to have a costume to do that too. That was my point. Right? Because really, my point was the 3 Captain America, or the 3. Yeah. You got the David Harbour, Kurt Russell's kid, and Bucky. So you got those 3 that are actually
Yeah, and they've got versions of the Super Soldier Serum. So that was the joke. They get stuck in a huge tunnel, which is a comic book trope. That's like 2 miles.
Really, what this movie should have been is just all the captains, and it should have been called something along,
the Captain Squad.
This should have been that's what. And I said that when did I say that on here or not, Mark?
Not on here.
I said that's what that last 4th Captain America movie should have been. All the you got 4 Captain America, even though one of them's Russian. You got 4 captains now. You should have called it Captain 4. Right, the 4 is the
Captain's courageous.
There you go. But you have the 4 instead of the A, right? I don't care if you do the gay thing, but that's the point.
Wait, what?
Point is, you have all these different guys that are Captain America now, And what could the movie have been about? Them trying to find Captain America who's lost in time, right, or whatever. Who gives a shit?
Bring back Cap. Yeah, bring back the real Cap. Because we don't even know where Captain America is
we
right
technically
now.
do. He winds up old man Cap, but like, you just got to come up with a reason. Like, we got to go get him, right?
Yeah,
and he can go back,
or grab him in the past and bring him to the future. So he'll
yes,
become an old man that can't help us anymore. Yeah,
exactly. Because the whole point of the movie should have been we need to get Cap back, right? That's because people are going to see the movie because they want to see Captain America. It would have played along with the Marvels,
which is insanity. So the comic books did the same thing. As I'm reading the comics, they got rid of all the main characters. So you had Ironheart replaced Iron Man for a while. Thor, although he did have a side issue, you had Jane Foster, as the main version of Thor for a while, and Thor lost the hammer Mjolnir. And Captain America actually was replaced by Falcon. And those comics sucked. And I was that radical dude writing those comics too. But and so you can imagine a kid goes in a comic book shop and wants to I want to grab an Iron Man comic, and it's Ironheart. It's like, I don't know if an Ironheart, I guess, is coming out this summer too. I guess that's on the
yeah, it's supposed to be out in like a month, and they still haven't dropped a trailer for it.
Yeah, and it's how long has that been in the can? Like 3 years or something. They've had that movie in
kind of about how long that Paulie's been gone. Yeah,
right. Paulie will be back. Right, we'll get him back.
Paulie will come back.
But yeah, no, it was filmed almost 3 years ago or whatever.
3 years ago, right?
I think they actually filmed it right before or right after Wakanda Forever because the same character actress, and then because I don't even know. I thought I heard rumors of reshoots along with that and Fantastic Four, but I'm like, how can they reshoot that? Because isn't that chick like a teenager, and wouldn't she be like fucking 3 feet taller by now than what she was in that show movie?
She's gonna have kids by now. Yeah,
yeah, she'll be collecting Social Security at this point.
Yeah, but so it was just ridiculous with how bad that they've gotten with the TV shows. And I did like Daredevil. I gotta say, I did like Daredevil. A lot of flaws in it if you watch my reviews with Nick, but overall I liked it. I mean, it's no Echo, which was painful to watch. So there were things I didn't.
No, but that show shows us how bad a shape the Marvel Universe is really in right now, because even the Acolyte got better ratings than Daredevil did.
Yep. No,
Star Wars is a dead franchise.
That's dead too. Yeah, people just don't care. Yep. And RJ Godzilla. Yep. Oh, I'm looking at my Eric Masterson Thor figure right now. Yep. So I did like Eric Masterson as Thor. Yeah, and then Thor did come back. Yeah. So you're right. Yeah, and Rhodey stood in for Tony too back in the day, but it wasn't for. I don't think it was for that long. Well, Eric Masterson did. He did get 25 issues of his own series, like when Thor came back. And spoiler alert, he dies in issue number 25. He sacrifices himself to save everyone. But they do bring the characters back, but it's like they don't. It's like Marvel and Disney. It's like they want these new female characters to succeed over the male ones, and it's like comic books, it's a male dominated audience. Star Wars is a male dominated audience. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't have women that like it. Like my sister's got a whole shrine to Princess Leia, and I always give her toys. And I actually she just sent me a picture of her Princess Leia stuff. I should put it up, but it doesn't mean you can't like it. But your predominant audience is dudes, so it's like you cater to the dudes and you bring along the ladies that like it, or that come along and can. And are enticed by that story. But Disney was always princesses and skewed that way towards their movie, and that was their demographic. It didn't mean you couldn't be a guy and didn't like some of the stuff or appreciate some of the stuff, but that was their main that's your core audience, your core group that you're going after. And they're trying to get everyone to like it. It just becomes out as a mess, and it's a meh, like phase meh, as someone was saying in the chat. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting who did that. Yeah, so it's just ends up being a train wreck when you do committees, and it's just like you got to give someone like James Gunn, who ran with Guardians of the Galaxy, give him the reins and see what he can do, and that's and look what the success he made out of that movie. Oh, Paulie's back. Awesome. How's it going, Paulie? So yeah, we've got our list of
Good. What's the word?
what's
What
the
are we doing?
word? What's
What are
the
we doing?
word is word is we're just trying to see who cares about what's coming up in the Marvel universe. So
Ah,
and just general apathy too. So like Fantastic Four First Steps, of course, I'm one of the bigger FF fans out there. But yeah, I'm just worried about how if Thunderbolts didn't do that well. What do you guys think? That people are going to go nuts over FF, or is that going to have a lot of hype, or I don't know.
Do you want to tell
Paulie, you haven't been here.
Yeah, let's let Paulie hit that one. Yep.
I think he stepped away again.
Oh, he had to step away a second. Yep.
Oh.
What do you think, Tom? Do you think FF is going to generate like Avengers? Like
it has to be good. And I mean, a lot of the comic book fans think Fantastic Four is a lot more popular than it really kind of is technically.
Right.
Yeah, the other films did well, but that's most people's exposure to these films. And the last movie did not do very well, obviously. And I'm sure left a bad taste in a lot of folks' mouth.
That's really been a very successful Fantastic Four movie.
No, there really hasn't. That's the thing. And that's kind of what I'm getting at, is it's not like it was even one of those properties that most people were like, I can't believe they're getting on Fantastic Four before they're revamping the X-Men, right? Because it was like, I thought that was part of the reason why they bought Fox, is because they could have the X-Men back. The Fantastic Four and Daredevil were just cherries on, they were going to get those back eventually sometime at some point anyway, right? This was just like, I can't believe you didn't do anything with the X-Men. And you still technically haven't, if you really think about it. And they've had this since 2017. There's nothing stopping them. Not a damn thing stopping them.
They've had it for almost 8 years now?
Yes. They bought Fox back in 2017. I think the deal was completely all through that year, if not by 2018. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you guys know all the stuff that's in,
all right, I think I'm back. Sorry,
all right, you're back. No
worries.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, we have
okay, it was in 2019. I'm sorry. It was when the deal finally went through.
Yeah,
so since 2019, they could have done this.
What are we doing?
Early 2019.
We're just talking about nothing's happened with the X-Men, and Tom was saying how popular, you guys know. Let's see if my camera will scroll, but like, not to prove how much I like the Fantastic Four, but where's my I mean, how many people have a life-size bust of the Thing next to their desk, right? So but I agree with Tom. It's not FF is not as popular as the X-Men for sure.
No, and people forget that the X-Men actually did kick off the modern comic book movie craze.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Spider-Man came around, but that was 2 years after the first X-Men. It came out around the same time as X-Men 2 did.
Yeah.
And that by that point, things were like, okay, and then the Marvel Universe was right around the corner and all, DC was still struggling until they got Batman Begins and Dark Knight Returns and all that, or Dark Knight and Batman Rises or whatever the hell it's called. But yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what did the first FF movie? Of course, this is just for inflation, but it was 333 here on the screen.
I was going to say, I guess it didn't do nearly as well as I even thought it did.
But this is, what year was this? This was
2005.
2005. Okay, so just for inflation. But I remember being a lot of hype. There was a lot of hype for this FF movie when it came out. I remember a lot of people interested in seeing it, but so I guess it did okay box office wise.
Oh, for that time, that's great. I mean, that was unexpected for anything other that wasn't a Batman movie, basically. Yeah.
Right.
Or a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. So
or X-Men.
But yeah, X-Men is just so much more popular in the comics. So and I'd get $1 million. How do you say Grufford's first name? Is it Owen or Eon or?
I think it's Ian.
Ian? That can't be. Is it? You just say Ian, or someone tell me how to pronounce the actor's name? Because
Ian.
You think it's Ian?
That's all I've heard it pronounced in interviews and stuff. So, but it's not a hill I'm going to die on.
I think it's just fancy spelling for it or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Or it's Eon. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, just I hate to get actors' names wrong. So let's see. What did the?
So I don't know which one, but so it could just be that country spelling of Ian.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because Fantastic Four is definitely a generational thing. It's my father's favorite comic book growing up. And he's actually excited for the new film. I mean, he likes Pedro, so I mean, there's that. I mean, this Pedro hate in these circles that I swim in. I think it's really silly. I think for a community that prides itself with having a thick skin, boy, y'all crack eggs and scream with your panties pretty quickly. Anything y'all don't like. So I think it's interesting, man. People's behaviors, just because.
Yeah, but it is kind of justified in the sense that Pedro Pascal is in every fucking thing, dude.
So what? So what?
So it's called being oversaturated. People get sick of seeing the same dude every day.
You're upset that an actor is actually working and successful.
It's not so much that he's working and he's successful. It's like, leave some fucking parts for the other dudes, man.
So that's his fault.
Well, look, he's an easy lay. He's an easy lay. I get it.
I don't understand the argument. He's in everything. I hate him. What is that argument?
That is a very valid argument when it comes to entertainment. It'd be the same thing if enough people started going, you know what? I don't like Steven Seagal. I'm going to stop going to see his movies. Guess what? People didn't like Steven Seagal. They stopped going to see his movies. They don't make Steven Seagal movies anymore. They made so many of those fucking movies with him that you kept making the same movie over and over and over and over again. Same kind of thing with Pedro. He's in everything. It gets so oversaturated at some point. You get to a point where you're like, okay, I can't deal with the same guy in every single fucking movie all the time. And I'm somebody who likes most of the movies I've seen him in. I think he's a good actor. Even in bad films, he's a good actor, like Wonder Woman 84. But again, and it's not his fault. You're right, Paulie. I'm not blaming him. He could be a little more selective, that I will say. But at the same time, look, he's working, he's banking his paychecks, he's doing very well for himself. Look, if he's willing to take somebody else's scraps like Fantastic Four, good on him. Because we all know the fucking truth, and he was the third or fourth person in line that they wanted.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying that has anything to do with what we're saying, but what I'm saying is that he's an easy lay. He'll say yes to anything as long as it'll fit in his schedule.
So what I brought up was a generational, older generation that loves the Fantastic Four and likes Pedro and is excited to see the film. That's going to be a very small audience, but it's there. That's why I brought it up. Again, there's an argument where he's like, well, he's political and he's upset half the American audience.
Well, country Nazis called for violence against them and called Toronto a Nazi. So
he did.
Yes,
he called for violence against them.
He called for violence. Yes. This is why I don't like him. I don't like, and I'm not going to say don't look at movies. I'm just saying I'm not going to see it. But I'm not going to see it not because of him. The whole thing looks like a train wreck to me.
I just think it's funny, man. Mark, everyone's got so many arguments against, actors. And then it's like, well, and then he gets killed off in Last of Us. And it was like, man, Pedro was the best thing about it. So
I think the guy is a good actor, right? What's got me upset about?
There's a selective.
I also remember a lot of people when he got hired as Joel, they're like, "Oh, of course he's Joel. Why wouldn't he be? Because he's in everything." So, and a lot of people that are reacting to this didn't even know the games. That's the thing. I've learned that this last weekend. I actually had a conversation with somebody. Yeah,
people didn't know
because they were totally taken off guard by that. Yeah,
my son actually watched the playthrough. I'm like, "Oh, Charlie, do you know the story?" Because we're talking about what happened. And he's like, "No, actually, I just watched him do the playthrough," and which some people do too on YouTube. So then he knew the game, and he's like, "Yeah, it didn't surprise me, and I knew what was going to happen too." You got to judge Pedro by what he does in the movie, right? You could say, "Well, I don't think he looks like Mr. Fantastic, or I don't really like
And
the
then
casting. But you got to wait till the movie comes out to judge him, to see it how he does.
It might
right?
end up being the best Fantastic
who's the
Four
other
movie we've
person
ever
on
had.
Who's this other person that's on this
Oh,
panel
this
right
is
now?
Steve. Oh, Steve Mitchum, our buddy Steve.
Hey, Steve, what's up, man?
I'm sorry, yeah, I can't
You
see
know,
everyone
the
there.
thing is that
Yeah, put me at the bottom.
if he's like, oh, you know, say violence against people, I mean, you know, I can't argue with you on that. I mean, I've never heard of that before from Pedro, but you know, everyone's gonna make their own opinions, man. It's your pocketbook. I totally respect that.
Yeah,
I totally respect that, bro. But you know, I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
Let me be clear. I probably won't see the movie, but it doesn't. How can I put this? I would never tell anybody else to not go see it. You know, like I think we can agree. I think we can all agree that's an individual choice, and then you will judge the movie on your own standards. To me, it looks like the movie's just going to suck, just because it looks boring, and the you know they're as everybody knows they're doing rapid reshoots right now. So
They are.
Yeah, they for the last couple of they had some early test screenings and they were extremely negative, and so they're doing well, according to reviewers online, they're in the midst of doing rapid reshoots because the screening audiences gave it a very low score. So I would love to see a good Fantastic Four movie. I don't know if the characters of the Fantastic Four could pull it off.
Well, the main argument, Steve, is that he's miscast, and Tom is saying he was like third or fourth. So I mean, third or fourth, you know, as far as being considered. You know, that happens every day, Tom. You know, it's very rare when a production.
This is true, but okay. Here's my other point to that is that, and this is where this is the problem, is that they were not looking for anybody but Hispanic actors, and they flat out said that. So like even that tells me like, okay, so it's the same kind of thing you do with all the other actors now. It's like it doesn't matter who's the best person for the part, even though you already had somebody else cast in the role in Multiverse of Madness, and that was another thing that most people were asking. They were more like, why is this guy Reed Richards and not the guy you already cast as Reed Richards? Like that was the other thing that people were asking. So I get where you're coming from, and I'm not saying that doesn't happen. That happens a lot. I mean, yeah. God, how many fucking stories do you have where there's like tons of actors who could have been in this movie or that movie, and they turned it down and they regretted it?
So, and then there's this other thing about Pedro's and everything oversaturated. That's got nothing to, as far as scheduling. That's got nothing to do with the actor. Like, hey, put all these movies that I just did out in 2025. Some of the stuff he filmed 2-3 years ago, or I think the thing with Last of Us really suffered because of a season 2. He's like, look, I could probably only do season 1 and then kill me off because I got to go.
Oh, they could have kept him for the whole of season 2 and then killed him off at the end, maybe.
Yeah, he said Polly's getting defensive.
I don't think.
You know what I'm doing, guys? I'm actually giving another argument because a lot of y'all just hear the same thing, and it's like a drum, right? It's a drum, and you're bowing down to that drum. All I'm doing is I'm actually just laying out facts of everything from how casting is done, how other people get selected, and then how productions work. You know, depending on the role, and this is for any name actor. If the actor likes the role and can do it for like, all right, I can give you 3 days, they'll take it. And then I got Pedro Pascal in it. I got Sydney Sweeney in it. You know, but hey, I'm on to the next. This is why you're seeing Jenna Ortega. She's got 3 movies coming out and she's booked with 5. Rachel Ziegler has 1, and it's not even funded, right? Because the word is she is terrible to work with.
Yeah,
I'm just laying out fact. That is the worst thing, guys. See, here's another thing, guys. Right? once you fuck up your own rep, as far as you're hard to work with on set, that's worse than anything you could say on social media, any of that stuff.
That happened to Val Kilmer.
That is why, and that's another reason why people hire Pedro. He's like, he's great to work with. He is a professional. So Gap, After Dark, tough guy, getting defensive, whatever. Have a good life, buddy.
So with me, I do agree.
Happy birthday.
So I agree with Latino that yeah, sometimes the second or third choice is better. I think that much to my surprise, Benedict Cumberbatch did a great job as Stephen Strange. Although his accent was a little weird, but I think that kind of helped because it was sort of a surreal thing.
It was a little like uneven in scenes, but he was great.
I think it actually added something. And I don't think that their first choice, the guy that played the Joker in the Joker movie.
Heath Ledger?
The recent one, the Joker standalone movie.
Joaquin.
Yeah. I think he would have been as good. So I agree with Paulie or Latino, however you want me to address you.
Good, Paulie. Sounds good, brother.
I'm old school. I wait till people tell me I can call them so and so.
Oh, I appreciate it. Tom calls me other names, so don't worry about it.
I can't say I'm on YouTube.
But
I've got a super chat here from the Dead Man, so let me get to that because thank you very much, the Dead Man, for $5. Says Pascal, good actor but oversaturated. But Last of Us, he carried the show. Since he was killed off, I have no interest in Last of Us. It's a mixed bag.
Man, Dead Man, can I answer this? Do you mind?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Dead Man, you're so right on the money because here's the problem with the show, the way it's built, The Last of Us, is that it's a two-person, story. These two people and their relationship. It wasn't built like The Walking Dead, where it could absorb, where you could absorb a loss and then you keep moving on, because they would kind of replace it with a supporting character. And it wasn't even until season 8 where they got rid of Rick, where people are already tuned out for other reasons.
Yeah.
But here, you're expecting us to overnight go with this switch, and I get Dead Man, why so many video gamers hated what Druckmann did, because I hated what they did
in the game. Yeah.
And it's so
following the game.
Well, it's because,
and you can actually get away with that easier in a game than you can a movie, and it didn't even go in the game, right?
Well, so going back to this Dead Man is that with television, you gotta like these characters. I think with a video game story, you really don't. I know people were pissed they had to play Ellie because it switched from Joel to Ellie. No one's liking Bella Ramsey and in her characterization.
That's a bigger problem. Yeah,
of Ellie. That's it. That's why this show is flatlining. And who else is there in the show, Tom?
Nobody. And you're right. You're 100% right. It's
Well, like in Walking Dead, they built, like, he's a good point, Paul. I stopped watching when they killed, and I've read all the comics, collect the comics. Yeah. And I knew it was going to happen when they killed Glenn, but my dad was going through cancer at the time. And I'm like, I'm just so depressed right now. My best friend was drinking himself to death, and I'm like, I just can't watch this show. It's too damn depressing. Mm-hmm. So I just stopped watching, and I knew it was happening. It was still depressing to see what the Negan and the mayor. With killing those characters. It's horrific, but it did follow the comics. And I think you haven't had the time in The Last of Us to develop that crew of characters. You had Joel and Ellie traveling together, and they went to this village. And maybe if at the end of the story, like, if Joel's brother had kind of taken over, or you got to know his character or some of the other characters on the show to build an ensemble, might have had a little bit of a chance.
Okay. All right. I like Gabriel Luna. He's a decent actor, but Gabriel's not a leading man, right? Yeah. You need leading or woman capability to take that. You're welcome, babe. To pull off being the lead of a fucking show. Absolutely not. I mean,
You don't
Gabe's a
think
good
so? Yeah.
supporting actor. Catherine O'Hara, if she was, I loved her character, but it's it's not about the therapist.
Yeah.
And there's no other actors or characters there. For me, Bella Ramsey, the character's dependent on Pedro's character. They're dependent on each other.
Yeah.
So you
The
rip
interaction together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you rip that. Whereas, look at it was X-Men, X-Files was never the same.
Yeah.
And Mulder left after 8 seasons, and people still were like,
You had Robert Patrick there. Yeah. It just didn't
Robert
work.
Patrick's great,
He's
but
a
it's
good
not
actor.
the same. And he came back, right?
Yeah.
But you killed it for a lot of people. But this is happening. This happened after the second episode of season 2. We stopped watching it. We're like, all right.
You stopped, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I started watching this latest episode, and I kind of skimmed through because I heard what happened, and I think Ellie's character too is just so unlikable in the first episode of the season. I'm watching it with my son and his girlfriend, and they're like, "Why is she doing all that stupid stuff? Why is she putting her friends in danger?" Like Carl in The Walking Dead, you just couldn't take what his character was doing, and just pissing everyone off and acting. Yeah, she's immune, but that doesn't mean you put your friends in danger too. So really, she's written as a completely unlikable character that you just wanted to punch in those first couple episodes, and now she's got to carry the show. Now, people loved her as that little bit part that she had in Game of Thrones as a much younger kid, and that was just a couple of scenes here and there, but that she stood out in. But people are turning off the show, and it's kind of what happened in the video game. If you remember, everyone remembers the controversy of the video game,
and that's what I was kind of getting at before. Is like, even in a video game, you can get away with changing your main character, and it didn't even work in that game. So that should have told you that we should maybe try not to do this way, because even look at a game like Red Dead Redemption, switching over to your son in the first, well, quote unquote first game. Second game, you play a completely different character. Even though the character from the last game is in that game, it's a prequel, but you're playing a character you didn't even know about, but all the surrounding characters are people you know. That's kind of what Polly was saying. Like with Walking Dead, you could get away with that, right? You could bring in a new character, or you could give a supporting character a promotion or something like that up to a main character, no problem. But when you have a show like this where the two main leads are the people you're following, and then when you don't even like one of those people, unfortunately, even you're supposed to, that's a problem.
Yeah, and I think we tolerated, or at least I tolerated Bella's character because it was great. It was a great foil, Joel and Ellie. Like that was great. That was a really good drama for me. But then you turn it over to her, and I hear it's just god awful. As it would be, because you got an unlikable character who's 19, who knows it all. It's like, that's not, who likes that in their characters?
No one does. Yeah, no one does. Yeah, that's where you need that father figure, or the parent to kind of you have got that interaction, but you've got the parent leading the younger actor or character, and putting them on the right path, that mentor role. That was just such a great connection that Joel and Abby had. That's why people love that Last of Us game so much. I mean, and I was pissed because I don't have a PlayStation. I'm like, oh, I can't play it. This sucks. Now it's finally out on PC.
And when they finally introduced Negan in season 6, I believe, I mean, a lot of fans left, because even though they knew that that's in the comics, that's how Glenn goes out. It didn't matter. This is television. You loved this character for six seasons. You love Daryl. You don't get rid of them.
You remember they had to tease to kill Glenn. He was under the dumpster, and they had that, and you thought he was dead. And then everyone was saying, they're not going to kill him off yet.
A lot of Easter eggs.
Yeah, and hail to Jed and Admiral Teague, and thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey,
everyone.
What's up, Jed? What's up, Admiral? So I lost my train of thought, but we get attached to these characters, right? Because they're doing the work. We're liking, we're going, and then It's a lot to ask for from an audience.
Yeah, yeah. And when you switch up that main lead, yeah. I mean, Bewitched, when you switch Darren's, I mean, what did the show survive for another? Was it 1 year that Bewitched lasted? Another couple of years? Or I was always really confused as a kid when I'm like, Mom, the Darrens look different as me, right? It's a sitcom, but yeah, you don't have that same dynamic too. So actors are, hey, that's why they get paid the big bucks, right? Not that many people have that talent. There's very few stars, and that can carry a show or a role. And you think it's easy to do. I'm not saying just hypothetically to everyone, when you try to go do something, or I play D&D, right, and you try to role play in D&D, and it's not so not so easy sometimes, and people start talking in strange British accents all the time when they try to role play, and it's just not easy to do. Just like public speaking is not easy to do. Looks easy, but then when you try to do it, or I always talk, my company, we make tools for electricians, right? So my brother-in-law does video work for a living. He does TV commercials. And I've known I grew up with these products. My dad invented tools and knew them inside and out. And so he's like, okay, roll. And I'm trying to read the script or, talk about the tools. I'm fumbling my lines. I'm screwing up. And, I can't get through a take, it's taking forever. I'm like, damn it. Everyone makes this look so easy on TV. He's like, yeah, don't quit your day job. And it was just a video for, quick video to have. This is before YouTube and all that stuff where you would like actually hand out CDs at trade shows and stuff with, videos of a product demo. But yeah, it's not easy to do.
I do have good news for everyone in the chat. Pedro Pascal will not be acting forever.
He won't? I thought he's going to come back as the Watcher, and he's going to be in every Marvel movie forever, right? That's what I'm more pissed off with the Silver Surfette. I mean people are looking at me like, why do you care? Like people have known nothing about the FF, and I'm like, the trailer was in the movie theater before Thunderbolts, and I'm like groaning when she comes on the screen. And my buddy's like, and he knows comics. He's like, why do you care that much? So, but it's just I do care about that. That annoys me more than casting, unless they totally get a character wrong. But that would be the writing too, or the directing, if it doesn't feel like Reed Richards or Johnny Storm or Ben. But wow, the female Silver Surfer, the Surfette, is just is killing me. I mean, I hate to see it. I don't. What do you think, Steve? I heard you try to say something.
Well, I was going to circle back to something that Paulie had said before about. Yeah, let's just jump right in. Okay. You want this in Spanish or English?
This is a Mark's channel.
Now I speak Spanish. I can't separate it in my brain. No, I do have a problem with the way all the characters look, because I don't think any of them look like. So I'm like Clobby a little bit in this regard. I want Steve Rogers to have blonde hair and blue eyes. I don't want Superman to have brown curly hair. I don't think, honestly, I don't think anybody who's ever been cast as Reed Richards looked the part. I think that Jessica Alba looked a pretty good, very good Sue Storm, even though. She's a Latina, but she, they made her look like Susan Storm. I think she did a great job too. Chris Evans as Johnny was okay, I guess. I don't think they wrote that part correctly. But there was something that Paulie said about, we get used to these characters or something. And I think that people do want characters that look like, we want Superman that looks like all of us have in our collective subconscious. We all have this picture of this handsome, square jaw, black hair, spit curl guy. Captain America, blonde hair, blue eyed artist named Steve. I mean, let's face it, this is getting better than that. Nope. I'm trying to think of other characters that,
Well, Bruce Banner shouldn't be a muscle bound, dude, right? He's gonna be a nerdy scientist, right?
I don't think they've ever. I think they should find the smallest, skinniest, nerdiest looking chess club, helping you with your homework kind of guy they can find. I don't think Ed Norton. Edward Norton's a very good actor. He looked too big and strong to be,
That's
want
interesting.
Has to be. You want that contrast between.
You're talking about comic book accurate.
Yeah. But I think it goes a little bit beyond that. Although that is definitely a part of it. But the reason that they made the comic book characters look the way they did is to support their character. Daredevil. We've heard this a lot about how in the movies they don't want anybody to have red hair. Wally West supposed to have red hair. Daredevil supposed to have red hair. He's Irish. Yes, it's a stereotype, but and so I think that like with Bruce Banner, you want him. Anybody who's read the comics, and I don't know, Paulie, I don't think you're as deep into comics as the rest of us, if I recall correctly.
No. I mean, actually, the only thing that I did collect was that me and Mark have talked about is that run of X-Men.
Chris Claremont, John Byrne.
I have you guys around to make me look smart.
Well, let me play this. JT Kirk has a request here. Everyone knows that the Kirby Silver Surfer is the only real Silver Surfer. Here we go. And I made this clip for clobbering time.
You have to set an example even in the face of stupidity. Now, everybody that reads comic books knows that Kirby Silver Surfer is the only true Silver Surfer.
Tony Scott, man.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Yeah.
The great Tony Scott.
But my point, a lot of people didn't like the Batman because Robert Pattinson didn't look like what we all sort of picture as Batman.
He looked like and other things, but yeah.
Yeah.
And Steve and I think the only two people that like that movie, right?
I actually did like it. Yes,
I liked the first hour.
I went in expecting to hate it, and I did. But also,
I tell you, Steve, the moment that movie lost me was when Batman knocked. The only Batman that knocks is Adam West Batman.
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, that was bad.
I say now, Paulie does jiu-jitsu. I know, and maybe some other martial arts.
Yep.
You probably remember me, Paulie.
Yeah, we worked out today. Yeah, we trained today.
Yeah. I've been doing martial arts before any of you guys were born. And
Paulie's actually older than you'd think, probably.
Yeah, I'll be 55 this year.
You're a kid. I look a lot younger. I look a lot younger than I am.
All right. Sounds. I'll take it.
Fair enough.
I'll take it. Take it.
Paulie's actually a little older than me.
I'd kill all four of you to be 55 again.
I'm 10 years away from that, so yeah.
I'm at the age now where the line in the Hulk with Tim Roth, where he said, "If I could take what I know now and put it in the body I had 10 years ago, that's a guy I wouldn't want to fight." That speaks to a guy my age, But Paulie, did you see The Batman?
Oh yeah, and I actually saw it with the producers of the. It was a private screening with the producers.
Oh, nice. Did you? Did you? I think that the fight scene where he's in that nightclub, he's jumping over the railing and fighting all those guys. I think that was the most realistic fight scene in any Batman movie so far.
That was a good choreography.
Yeah, I thought it was very realistic.
The opening one though was lame. The one in the subway.
You know what screwed up in that scene too, Paulie? And the soundtrack, when I bought the digital and I had the subtitles on, and I don't think the voice the ADR on that scene should have been better because it's Halloween night, and the first guy they encounter in the subway says, makes a joke like it's not Batman, and then another guy's like, oh, it's really him. So I think that shock in that scene, that first scene, you don't hear what that character is saying. That jumped at me, but I did really like the end up liking the costume, and I liked the arc, the character arc in the end, in terms of him becoming like a hopeful Batman and getting out of the dark and into the light a little bit and helping to save everyone. The soundtrack was phenomenal too. I love that as well. But the Joker, I didn't like not the Joker, the Riddler. I didn't like the creepiness of the Riddler. I would prefer they called it, not the Riddler, something else. But yeah, knocking on the door was crazy. But I did really like that movie, and I think they screwed that setup on that scene. And if you watch that subway scene again, and people were kind of making fun of it in terms of the that setup there, in terms of him fighting everyone. But the dialogue wasn't clear to set that up. That this is really Batman. Let's not mess with them. But Pattinson did a good job.
Another issue I had before that was like the scene where the guys are standing there and all you hear is clump, 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 clump. It's like, no. You don't hear Batman coming like he's the Hulk.
Right.
He's the guy that's up in the corner of the room that you didn't realize was there the whole time until it's too late.
Correct.
It's like, what the hell is this? But no, I mean, look, and then you're right. Cause like, then the other problem with the movie I had, and I'm not going to get too deep into why I disliked it, but like, it's just that I was ahead of the movie so much. And it's like, this is supposed to be the world's greatest detective, but he sucks as a detective. And then about midpoint through, I'm like, wait a minute here. Are all the white characters pieces of shit, basically? Because like even Alfred's a jerk for not telling Bruce any of this shit about his parents. And why are we making his parents crazy and bad people? And like, it just, the whole movie started
that part. That
rolling
part
like a snowball into just crap. And then it felt like I've already seen this stuff with Batman Begins. It felt like the same thing in the third act with the way that, the town was being closed off by the Scarecrow and stuff like that. It seemed very similar, and even very similar to Dark Knight Rises. I don't know. It did not justify 3-hour running time either. That was the other problem.
I mean, I'm not saying that Tom's wrong, but what that film is unique is that there's so many reasons why I didn't like it. Like, none of them were what Tom just said.
Okay.
But I agree with Tom, right? It's not like it's not like Tom's wrong, but the thing is that Batman's a pretty smart detective.
Yeah.
And he's a fucking idiot in this movie.
Well, and it's not only that,
that pissed me off.
The scene that literally made me get up, like physically made me get up and get so pissed I was ready to leave. I stood in the doorway for the last hour of the movie. Was because when he refuses to tell Gordon that information because he knows it could implicate Bruce Wayne as the Batman, it's like, you dumb shit. It doesn't matter. There's a bomb somewhere else. I can see that, like, this is the oldest trick in the book, Batman. Like, come on. Like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah.
And that's the moment where you're supposed to trust Gordon, and he just goes, whatever, it doesn't matter. I trust you. Like, yeah.
Well, you didn't get enough of Batman being a detective, other than I think in the Dark Knight movie and all the Batman movies. So, but I did overall, I did like the movie.
I mean, I'm sitting here screaming, "It's a setup, Batman! You dumb shit! It's a setup."
Yeah. Of course, you could argue they're trying to argue that's early in his career, but
doesn't matter. I get it, and I get, like, look, the cinematography of it, the way the Gotham looks, it's one of the best. Like, it has that 1940s golden noirish hue to it. That shit looks great. Yeah. The car is fine too. It's kind of more of a minimalized, kind of a throwback, kind of almost to the Adam West Batman in a way. There's things about it that are fine, but Catwoman
look at the Penguin show. How the Penguin show did phenomenally.
That was kind of one of my issues with the Penguin. Is like, okay, either make him more like the Penguin or just have him be a regular gangster. Because in this, it's like it's just basically Tony Soprano. Like,
yeah.
But I get people love the show, so like whatever.
I don't think you could pull off a comics accurate Penguin and have people think it's silly. I mean, Batman's.
I disagree to a point. I think they did a good job in Gotham. I don't know if you watched that at all with that characteristic version of it, but no, you could be right.
I think that Batman has a few really good villains, or potentially really good. Obviously, the Joker is the obvious one because Batman is so logical and methodical, and then you've got his counterpart is somebody who I once read this as a definition of the Joker is he's a guy who might shoot you in the head because he doesn't like your shoes, or he might give you $1,000 to go buy a new pair of shoes, and you never know what he's going to do.
As long as you shoot that other guy in the head.
The Riddler, I have problems with, but I have problems with the Riddler, and this is kind of going against what I said about Comics Accurate, because I always thought the Riddler was dopey. You know, whether he's in the skin tight question mark suit or the green suit with the question marks on it and the bowler hat and the cane, I think he's a goofy character. So if you're gonna, but at the same time, you can't keep using the Joker over and over and over again. Killer Croc to make believable that's a pretty tall order. I'm not saying it can't be.
Well, that's
done.
when you're getting into the Clayface and some of the other ones that are a little more difficult to put in. And I agree with you. Like, here's the thing: the Riddler, like, that was one of the things that I wish they would have went to a different level with it, instead of it just being a kind of a ripoff of Hush or whatever the character's name is, right, in the Batman. Is the Riddler is one of those guys where he could be a very evil and sadistic adversary for Batman, because the thing is he's technically smarter than Batman, except for his ego always gets in the way. That's the problem, right? So and Batman knows that, and he always exploits that in some way. And what you could do is update the character into more of the terroristic version of that, which they kind of did in this version, but they went too far away. Because what the Riddler has to do is he has to be a little bit more theatrical to stand out up against guys like the Joker and the Penguin, right? That's where that comes from. Yeah.
Totally, Tom. And Reeves is really into they just deconstructed it, right?
Yeah.
And to where, like you said, then they started adding the racial element. If you notice that the one guy that was kind of like.
Well, and that's where I said, okay, so like halfway through, I'm like, is Jeffrey Rush actually a good cast in this because he's a good actor? Or is he just casting this because he's black? Because they had to make Commissioner Gordon black now, because every white person is either a villain or a piece of shit in some way.
And I listen. I'm not saying you're wrong. I think you probably saw more glaringly than I did. I didn't think it was, that over your head. Like they were trumping over your head. But maybe you did. But I just thought that had other.
It took about halfway into it before I kind of noticed it. That was the thing. I wouldn't say it was like right away, and I wasn't looking for it either, right? Because Jeffrey Rush is a good enough actor that it didn't matter, right? It was kind of like
Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Rush.
Or Jeffrey Wright. I mean, not Jeffrey Rush.
Right,
yeah, sorry. I meant you're right. Jeffrey
not
Wright.
the guy playing piano.
Not the piano man. Sorry.
But,
you knew who I meant. But like compared to like it didn't bother me at first until they started noticing these other things that were kind of falling into place. And it's like, wait a minute here.
Yeah, and I told you guys I saw with the producers, right? And I saw with also who they invited were producers that also did not work in the movie. And so I was just chatting with some of these producers afterwards, and they're like, fucking Matt, he finds a shot he loves, and he just stays there forever. And that's why that movie was too long. There's some gorgeous shots, but pacing, man, come on, pick it up, brother.
So when you see something like this, is this just like a early preview just to see what critics might think, or is it to actually give commentary back to the director? It's in the can at that point.
That was like a total private event we were invited to.
But it's not. But are they taking your feedback or no? It's just it's just like a private
totally
early act.
It was like to show their friends.
Show their friends. Okay. Yep.
And some of the circles that we roll in, sometimes we get invited to those things. That's all.
Yeah. But it's tough too to be. You got to be honest with friends too sometimes, right? If you disagree with them, you got to say what. Right? I mean, you want to get invited back, but not.
They didn't. No one. They didn't ask us that. Like, meaning when I say that particular circle that we found ourselves in, it wasn't like we got invited to because they wanted our opinions. We were just we just were friends of certain producers. That's all.
Yeah,
it happened. And they also need to fill up that private. It was a private screening, man. It was like totally bought. But again, I just overheard. It's like there's no, once Matt Reeves loves a shot, he just stays with it forever. I mean, Tom. The pacing of this movie was just like molasses.
Now I know why it's taking him so long to make the second one.
Yeah, I saw what you posted today on Twitter, Tom, right?
Oh, you're so funny, man.
The Batman, it was going to be 2028, 2029. Pattinson's going to have gray hair before they make this movie. But let's say hello to Lisa. Supergirl's in the chat. Hey,
Hey,
Lisa.
Lisa.
And thank you, everyone in the chat. We got a lot of people watching tonight and going back and forth. You never know what we're going to talk about here. So I didn't think we were talking about the Batman, but this is great to talk about.
Well, so, apologize, but before you move on, if you're about to move on, which I
no,
I'm kind of in a position where I'm going to sound like I'm trying to please everybody here, because I kind of agree with both Paulie and Tom. I do think that the thing about making all the white people pieces of crap was very heavy-handed, and I wouldn't have liked that had they done that to any group across the board. Hey, all the Latinos in here are all a-holes.
Well, even worse, to make it an a-hole, they made Martha crazy. I hated that.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah. But what's the name of the guy who played Jeffrey Wright?
Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah, I accidentally called him Jeffrey Rush. Yeah,
Jeffrey Wright.
That's the best.
I will say, to me, even though I went in kind of pissed off, like, oh, we're changing, race swapping people. Although part of me gets it, right? I mean, I can see where people of different ethnicities would want to go and say, hey, let me be represented here somewhere. However, going in kind of pissed off, I think he nailed it. I think he absolutely nailed it. That's if you take out the racial element, he acted that part exactly as I would have expected. He's like a guy who's risen to that level on his wits and his ability. He's the guy who is collaborating with, let's face it, an illegal vigilante, and sort of overlooking the laws because he knows that's the only way that it's going to get done. And to Paulie's point, you're right. The cutting and pacing was too slow. However, I got to say, again, I'm gonna tap into the martial arts thing that we share between us. If you watch modern action stuff, with the exception of the first season of Daredevil, it's always cut, because the actors can't fight, right? And so they try, they do slow motion, they speed things up, they get the camera in way too close, and they do tons of fast cutting. So, there I am with my wishy-washy on the fence, half in, half out.
But no, you're right. Because I had no problem with Jeffrey Wright playing the character until all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute here. Because you had the do better scene and it got to a point where I'm like, okay, so that's what this feels like. This isn't like when they had, Morpheus playing Perry White in Man of Steel, right? That didn't bother me. It didn't bother me at all. He's fine, because it's all about the gravitas and the type of person that's playing the role. Yeah. And Jeffrey Wright was basically playing kind of the similar era that what's his face was playing in Batman Begins and Dark Knight, and Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman was playing, which was kind of like the more meeker Commissioner Gordon, right?
Yeah.
So you're getting to that point where you got to start making him more and more stronger. And they did a fine job with him in the movie. My problem was just the fact that the other story around him and other things that were going on led me to go, okay, so did you just give him the job because of this, or was it because he's black? Right? That was the problem. I didn't ask that before that moment. Right. So, yeah.
Right. So the problem is that apparently, okay. When you make the villains, a particular, ethnicity, and
all the villains, by the way.
What's that?
All the villains were.
What's that?
All the villains were white. The Penguin.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is that that's not necessarily a bad thing, depending on what's the story. The problem is they wanted you. And what I mean by that in this example, and it's been done. It's kind of like a recent thing, the last 10 years, is they're not writing these characters as great villains. They're writing these. It's almost like, help me out here, Tom. It's as if we're trying to teach you real world issues. We're not writing great characters that move the story. We're bringing in real. We're trying to solve, for lack of better words, the white patriarchy. That's what was going on, and that is a major problem. That is, no one likes that. I don't.
They're not well grounded. They're not well grounded characters. They seem like fake, phony, fraud characters, and they don't follow. And if you don't follow the comic book convention, so like in watching the Thunderbolts this weekend,
I
did think the characters were well written and had depth to them, and you want to see that in your characters. So like you like Jeffrey Wright as Gordon, you appreciate his performance because it seemed like, that's Gordon and that's how Gordon would act. And hey, the Eartha Kitt was played Catwoman back in the 60s, and they swapped. That was, I guess, maybe one of the first swaps, you could say. But no one really complained about it. I don't think I was I was maybe 4 years old when I first saw it in reruns. But I thought that you got to have a well-written character. Now, see, Teague disagreed with me on Thunderbolts, but I appreciated the what they were trying to do with talking about depression and everyone has a bad day, and not everything is not everyone can be Superman or have that sunny disposition. And the Sentry, that's a dark character. When you read those comics, that's a scary freaking character in the comics, and they did kind of touch on that. They did kind of get to that. What would you happen if you had a screwed up Superman? And so I did, and I love the Red Guardian. I think he's Harbor does a great job. I think he's funny. So, but I mean, we can disagree and talk about it. I love to do that, but it's that's why that movie grabbed me. And I think that's what's the problem with a lot of these portrayals, where they're like, all right, we're just going to swap the character around, make the character a different race, and that's going to. Then you're changing the fundamentals of the character too, in some ways, because then aren't you saying that race doesn't matter or that background doesn't matter to that character's upbringing in some ways as well?
This is a long conversation. Man, because
it's getting deep.
And what I will say is the 80s and 90s films handled this a lot better, and you always had diversity, right? And and everyone was and people of all different backgrounds, whatever. They were good guys and bad guys, but it was such a kick-ass story that you're like, well, we saw Revenge this weekend, 1990 movie, directed by Tony Scott. He did Crimson Tide, and it stars Kevin Costner, Madeline Stowe, and Anthony Quinn. And boy, these Mexicans in this movie were such bad mofos, but it was glorious because that's what the story demanded. But also too, you had, and then you realize, oh well, the local Mexicans hated Anthony Quinn's character. It was fantastic. It was wild. It was a little wrong, a little not PC. That I go and I told Rome, I go, they don't make these type of films like this. That movie was, and it was so entertaining. And it's like Hollywood has lost that sense of something. Go ahead. I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
And I think I missed the super chat, which I wrote. I don't get a ton of super chats. So the Dead Man, I think, didn't I miss this, guys? I boomer a lot of things, but this is going back a little bit. So God, I apologize, the Dead Man. But the villains were the Edge of Midnight, Barry Geekler, and Joe Rogan, the Ridicule Thinker for the Batman. So I apologize, the Dead Man, for missing that super chat. So we got to play something for that, right? Let's play. Here we go.
Superman.
And how about this? Let's see.
No bloody A, B, C, or D.
It just doesn't matter.
All right. Thank you, the Dead Man. Yep. Lively chat tonight.
Yeah. And
yeah. Yeah, you got some wild boys in the chat right now.
Well, I'm about to call the night so that you guys, get some smarter people, can talk. I will say this though. I don't think one of the things that Matt Reeves, I think, was trying to do was to say, okay, this guy is obsessed with vengeance, and he doesn't see that there are other tools that he could use, his money for one thing, and then he's sort of using other people. You know, the guy was raised in isolation, right? And so he thinks of himself as vengeance. And then when the Riddler says, "I am vengeance," he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, hang on, crap, is this how I look to other people?" So it's kind of like, in a way, Batman Begins. But in any event, I'm going to make a prediction that I think the Fantastic Four, not because of Pedro Pascal, is going to kill it. I think the whole movie is going to kill itself. So maybe not.
I hope not. I hope not.
I think that we really need, those of us who love comics, really would like some great movies. I don't know if this is going to be it. And, you know, I think there's also a lot riding on Superman, you know, with Crypto, which a lot of people hate Crypto being in the movie. I think it's a new direction because I'm sick of Lex Luthor all the time, or Zod. I mean, they keep going back to those same two buckets, Luthor and Zod, and they do in this one as well. And James Gunn is doing his ensemble cast, and it's probably going to make a lot of jokes and stuff, but at least trying the Crypto thing, and it's trying something different. But I think with both of these movies, if they fail, I think we're going to see the end of superhero movies for years. And if I'm wrong, you can all rub my nose in it. And with that, I am going to say goodnight, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Steve. Take care.
Good kind of seeing you, brother.
Yeah. You look like Dr. Doom in there. Yeah.
Well,
hey, that's a cool. That's a cool tank top, brother.
Shazam!
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I was going to go to the gym today, and I got dressed for it, and the CFS killed me. So, but yeah, I mean,
feel better.
I'm a dozen years older or more than all of you guys. I look okay, I think.
You look great, brother. You look fantastic.
Well, one day I'll be as handsome as you, but you know, it's going to take.
Hey, Steve, why don't you just say Shazam, and then you'll have even more muscles.
Shazam.
You know, so Paulie doesn't know this. Mark knows it to his eternal chagrin, because I always talk about it. I'm friends, not close friends, but I'm friends with the third guy who ever played Captain Marvel, the Shazam Captain Marvel. He's a guy named John Davey, and he played Captain Marvel in the 60s. In the 70s on a live-action TV show. I met him at a con years ago. We started a correspondence, and he's 80-something years old. He's about 6'3" or 6'4". Former Marine, former professional boxer. He was Joe Frazier's sparring partner.
Whoa.
And just a very interesting and very great guy. And so I got this T-shirt, and it's sort of my way of paying homage to him. So, and you were wearing a tank top earlier, so I said, well, if you got a tank top and you're on camera,
I was.
Yeah,
mine just said California though, and then it started getting cold outside, so I put a T-shirt on.
Where in California are you?
Los Angeles.
Oh,
well, Romy, my girlfriend, is an actor in the business, so we got to stay here.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, you're not that far. I'm in Vegas.
Oh, in Vegas, yeah. And my mom, my family live right down the lane, so.
Oh, cool.
La familia, mi amigo.
I was
Oh,
about to say in Spanish, and in my brain I was like, "Don't be an asshole." These guys.
No, está bien.
I'm actually, so you probably don't know me from Adam. Mike Alonso was my best friend for 40 something years. So, and actually, yeah. Mark, I posted on social media the other day that my 4-year, you may remember my 4-year-old. She was wearing a Spidey pajamas when we did that tribute to Mike, or as everybody calls him, Clobby. Just the other day, she said, "Dad, do you miss Uncle Mike?" And I said, "You remember Uncle Mike?" She said, "Yeah, we had lunch with him, which was just about almost a year ago now." So yeah. So and Marc invited. I was Marc's first subscriber, so he made me a mod back in the day and invited me on his stream, and that's who I am. Even though I'm not a content creator yet, although I may start doing educate. I'm an animator by trade.
It's all right. Neither are we.
Yeah. Yeah.
Polly's another one that I subscribe to. Like, I don't get notifications from Marc or Polly or Midnight's Edge. The only one, strangely enough, I only get notifications for Antiderivative Jill and 24/7 Fusion Media, who's back on.
So weird, man. The suppression.
It is
strange. Yeah.
It's very strange. I think the algorithm is listening to us, and if we say one word out of line, they they do something to make you pay and suffer. So, but in any event, gentlemen, it was an honor being on with you guys. Mike had the utmost respect for you guys, and because of that, I do as well. So, thank you for having me on, and hope to meet you guys in person one day, as I've met so many of the other streamers, Marc and Nick and Jill, etc. So, I don't know.
Yeah, we had a good time together under pretty bad circumstances. So, yeah, it was great to meet you. But yeah, rather we always joked about doing a ClobbyCon, for them that never happened. Not that's sometimes just things don't happen in life, and but it was finally great to meet you in person, Steve, and yeah, you do get to know people, but there's nothing like having fun and having dinner and throwing back some beers and just relaxing all night. So yeah, it's and thank you everyone in the chat remembering our buddy Clobberin times. And Steve said, yeah, he knew him forever. You and Claude were his longtime friends. So I was fortunate to be included in that Mike circle. Becoming friends. Just on the YouTubes, but. I could
with Mike.
Go ahead,
what you saw was what you got. He was the most genuine person. Like if Polly, if your second cousin's secretary's sister was broken down 100 miles away from Mike and would have called him, with a flat tire and a downpour, he'd have thrown a jack and an umbrella and started driving. He was that kind of guy. Much to ask for him. I mean, this is why I'm so honored to have been his friend for so long, and I think people. When he died, Marc went, never having met him, went from Connecticut to Baton Rouge. Antiderivative Jill went from Corpus to Baton Rouge. Max from California, all C places. It's some people from Canada as well. For some that. So, I think that's about the highest tribute you could have.
Yep.
In any event, and he really looked up to you and to Tom as well. So he thought you guys were he thought of you guys as being sort of on a higher level than him. But he was, as Mike would say, he has bags of humility. So according to Superman.
Well, I always loved having Clobby on the show.
Yeah,
we did a lot together, man.
Well,
one thing
they would always say you were the first friend he made on YouTube, Paul.
That's right.
Found each other early on. We
were in the same chats. For whatever reason, we just hit it off.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, Mike, as you guys know, he had a weight problem. He weighed probably me and Tom together. And so he was kind of bullied his whole life. And in his last few years in life, he finally found his people. And he loved being on YouTube with all of you guys, with all you nerds. I'm so glad that you guys were able to bring him so much joy in his final year. So, and with that, this time I'm really.
Now you're really gone.
Get out of here, man. Before I start crying.
Felicidades.
Felicidades.
All right.
I just love clobbering time.
And a lot of the clips I play, those were clips that Mike would ask me, really make clips. So he'd like, hey, can you clip? And he would always say, like, I hate to ask you, buddy. I can still close my eyes and hear that. I don't want to. Don't go out of your way. You don't have to do that for me. But could you, if you have a chance, could you clip it? Right? He never wanted to put anyone out, but he would be the always guy that if you asked him to do something, damn, he would do it. He'd always come through, and he wouldn't complain about it or think twice about it. So those are a lot of the clips that he'd ask me, but he'd always say, I don't want to bug you, buddy. I don't want to bug you, but I know you're busy. What a great friend, and we're keeping his memory memory alive. Yeah, and Jed out there, we started the archivist with Clobby, and that's how I got to meet kind of got to meet each other through Mike was the focal point for me, and Jed invited me on YouTube for the first time. And it's nerve-wracking going on. And thank you, Jed, for that, of course. And then got to meet Mike and everyone, and Paulie and Tom and and Steve and the whole gang. I'm leaving people out, but I always called it a virtual comic book con, right? Because my local shop had closed, and I guess COVID had hit, so we're all stuck in our houses when we should have been outside, which we found out later, right? Outside and exercising in the parks. But it was like having that virtual comic book, and no one knew comics more than Clobby, right?
Yep.
I mean, and then he said, "Oh, my memory's Garbaggio," and then he'd proceed to like list the inkers and the colorist and
right.
the letter, not the artist, but everything. Like one time I said, "I think that was a different letter," and he's like, "No, I think they do it in a nice way too, not like oh, come on, don't you know who that is?" He'd be like, "No, I really think it's this guy, buddy," and so such a nice. For all his knowledge, he was never arrogant. So
nope,
always appreciated, right? So that was always something that that's why everyone looked up to and respected him, right? So because that's who he was, as Steve said. Yep. So Jed, it's your fault. Yep, you invited me on.
See, I know. Guys were talking about to different degrees about race swapping, and then the take on why all the white men are bad as far as certain movies. It's some of it works. Sometimes it works as far as like the ethnic swapping, right? Like what you were saying. The further away you go away from the source. You just have to explain it more. And unfortunately, that which requires vision in your writing, like creative guts. Like, okay, if you're gonna make Commissioner Gordon African American, like have some vision with it, or whatever, but the majority of the time, which is why I think so many true fans have been turned off, is these are just horrible depictions. There's nothing inspired. That's what it is, right? There's nothing inspired. The Namor thing was a fucking disaster, because it was not only it wasn't inspired, but it was almost downright racist within its own depiction of so it was just, it's terrible. And it gives you an insight as to how elite white Hollywood liberals think about certain ethnicities.
Just make assumptions and just throw hey, we can just change this character and paste them in, and Namor, you can see Namor on the real Namor on my screen, and just like, you didn't have to do that. There's other ethnicities in the Marvel universe that you could have used if you did want to have a Latino culture.
Well, we talked about on with Nick, what was the white tiger?
Yeah, White Tiger. Yeah. You got White Tiger. Yeah.
The White Tiger has been there forever.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the actor who played White Tiger has passed away. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
But wow, what an amazing performance and presence, and cool
In
way
a
to
short amount of time.
and cool way to put him in there. And it's like, well, why? Right. Why was he in there such a short amount of time? So I think I kind of like that, like the Batman, and then Wakanda Forever. It was so peak woke. It was just,
yeah.
I want to think that Daredevil, Tom, do you think they reshot and kind of worked out a lot of the woke out of that show? Are they split?
Did Tom go get a bite to eat? No, but yeah, I think part of the Daredevil failure was, as we were saying before, was just people don't care to watch. I mean, I think some of the switches that they did, they did kind of follow the comics in terms of the characters.
And you can't blame the OG Source fans, right?
Yeah,
because they're not asking for anything that's crazy. It's like, you know what? I just want the characters to look like the characters. Why is it? Why are you making this a race thing? I don't. You're the one that made it the race thing. We didn't.
Yeah.
All we're saying is stay true to the source. So you respect that, right? I get that. Now the problem with Hollywood is that they always want to race swapping and ethnic swapping is actually nothing new to Hollywood.
That's true. Yeah.
So the problem is, the difference is, back then it was just fantastically inspired. It was. I mean, Al Pacino is freaking Scarface.
Yeah.
Is the
but whitewash? Yeah, they would go the other way, right? Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is that it was so inspired. It was so bonkers that I bought. Okay,
you bought it,
cool.
right? You did buy it, though, right? Yep.
Yeah,
and Gen X is saying, "What WTF? I've never seen Mark's face before. I apologize. I hope I'm getting good here, but
good.
I've been on camera before. Once in a while, I put the camera on. I hope I'm. We do have a lot of viewers tonight, so I guess my mug is not scaring.
No, you look good, brother. But what Hollywood has forgotten is to take those wild, creative, swipes at things, and that's why you're seeing all this education and deconstructing of the heroes and going after, in lack of a better word, the white man in a lot of this material, and people hate it, man. People hate it who aren't white as well, just so you know. But yeah, man, I think the further you go away from the source, the more explaining you have to do. And then, we know how that's been going. All right. I've talked too much.
No, definitely not. No, but I mean, one of Mike's buddies who happens to be, he'd go see all the Marvel movies with, happens to be a minority, but he's like, I want my superheroes. He's like, they were talking about the Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
The Fan Four Stick, which one of the few movies I actually almost walked out of.
I didn't see it.
Left.
I didn't see it.
It's terrible. What they did to the thing. But God, talk about a bad movie. But he's like, Johnny Storm is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed kid from New York City. He's like, I'm black. He's like, I don't want to see a black Johnny Storm. He's like, I want him to be true to the character. And I think that's what people get pissed off when you're changing that source material or gender swapping. So we got the great Eric K. I got to catch up to some super chats here, but of course we got Eric K in the house, the great Wrench, and said Norin Raj is the Silver Surfer. End of story. Member for 20 months. Thank you, Eric K.
What's up, Eric?
Great to see you. Yep. So, we did cook some good steak tonight for Mother's Day. Mom was very happy.
I think Eric was. It was Eric and Klobby. This is before I met Tom. And hey, what's up? You back? You all right?
Yeah, I had to go switch my laundry over.
Yeah, get some clean chonies for the week.
Yeah, but to answer your question, yeah, I think they did at least eliminate some of the woke out of Daredevil, but I think there was bigger problems than that to begin with.
Yeah,
the fact that it wasn't a third season or fourth season, it was just a completely done revamp, and now they tried to retroactively make it a fourth season. But yeah, like the thing is, what's different is like back in the day, let's say like there was no such thing, like there was race swapping, but I don't, as much as there was whitewashing, I don't think a lot of times it was just because, you know, it was like, oh, we got to make this character white, right? I would like, hear me out here. Like if there was a comic book character that was extremely funny, okay, here's a better one. If Deadpool existed in the 80s, guess who would have played him?
Eddie Murphy.
Exactly. And nobody would have said a fucking word. Because why? Because he has the qualities. That's all that mattered. People didn't give a shit about the color of his skin, but everybody like, well, yeah, of course Eddie Murphy's going to play Deadpool. He's a foul-mouthed little shit who fucking swears all the time. And he's funny. You know? And he's always fast-talking, and he's da-da-da. He's basically Axel Foley, right? So,
It's true, yeah.
That's true, man. I mean,
it was not about the immutables. It was about the things that were. Right, we talked about this with Lou Diamond Phillips, right? He's not he's not Mexican American like Richie Valens was. Guess what? It didn't fucking matter. He had all the qualities that Richie had, and his family picked him. They're like, yes, this is the guy we want. Because originally the director's brother was supposed to play Richie, but that was when they were going to make the movie 10 years prior to that. So by the time they got to the movie, his brother was too old, right? So they did a search for kids to play Richie. And Lou just had what they were looking for. It didn't matter that he was Filipino and Indian mix, but yeah.
Lou Diamond is half Filipino, half white.
I thought he was Indian. I thought he had an
No. So Lou Diamond and Eastside, they switched roles. Like they auditioned for because they initially auditioned, but then Luis, the director, said, "Switch this up for us," and you got gold. And that's another thing. That's another thing that if you get the best person for it, it almost doesn't matter because you've convinced everyone, right? If the best person for that role of Johnny Storm was Michael B. Jordan at the time, show me, convince me.
Yeah, exactly. What about Michael B. Jordan screamed Johnny Storm?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. And I didn't even see the film.
But now, if you watch Back to the Future,
have the guts to make Sue black too. Then if you're gonna make a brother and sister, then they go,
sure.
Oh, he's adopted, right? They just go the whole way.
What did I say earlier? The more you go away from that source, the more convinced. So you know, put your creative underwear on and swing for the fences, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
convince us, that you're going to do something wild and crazy like that, and it works.
Yeah. Oh, we got to get another super chat from the Dead Man. Thank you, the Dead Man. He says, "Paulie, I remember years ago you were on R&B late night. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And then you blew up. Do you remember when I guess is it R? I know it says RM and Lay. I'm not sure what the last part of that.
Yeah, RM and Leal. They were a fixture on R&B's either Friday night or Saturday. I think it was his Friday night show.
Okay.
They had their show for a while. And I think Arum just went back to her when the COVID kind of like restrictions ended, she went back to her full-time job. I know she's taking care of her mother. God, I should check in with her just to see how her and her mother are doing. And Leal, I think, was a documentary filmmaker. Didn't know him that much, but yeah, good people. That was a good time. Thanks, Dead Man.
Thank you, Dead Man. Yep.
Oh, and I haven't blown up. I just got fun friends like Tom.
Right. So it's a great.
I'll give you another good example here real quick before we finish this up.
Yeah.
Most people haven't read The Shawshank Redemption, but believe it or not, Red in the book is white. He's a red-haired Irish dude. Mm-hmm. That's why they call him Red. But nobody cares because Morgan Freeman
brought it.
Is such a great narrator, such a great storyteller, embodies exactly what the character's supposed to be. And then you just throw away the line in there, like, why do they call you red? I don't know, maybe because I got red hair, which is probably the line in the book from memory. Like, but it's a joke because he's black. So you just throw it away. It's like, whatever. They just call him red for whatever reason. We don't need to know. It doesn't matter. Because at that point, the character is so well portrayed by him that we get it, right? We get who this character is supposed to be, because that's the way Hollywood used to cast people too, right?
Well, Billy D is Lando.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's basically Shaft in space, right? So you get a guy who has that panache, right?
Yeah. Or Eddie Olmos in some of the great roles that he was able to pull off. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
That's funny because I was just talking about him last night or the night before. Was it last night? The night before.
And God, everyone loves The Shawshank Redemption. Isn't that one of those movies that just killed it on cable for years? And
it's one of the highest rated movies on the IMDb. It's constantly fighting it out with like The Godfather and Return of the King. Yeah.
Oh, I know what I was gonna say. So yeah, you mentioned so the Three Kings, George Clooney's role was written black.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's it. That's what he says. Is he's Irish? And he said that's what he says in the book too. Yeah.
Yeah. So and then the Lincoln Lawyer's character, McConaughey did it right for the film, but the character is in the books was half Mexican, and so the TV show he's half Mexican. You know.
Well, speaking of Shaft, most people don't know in the book Shaft is white.
I mean, it's Hollywood, but see,
I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
No way. Right.
Yes,
Tom's right.
I am 100%. Yes.
Holy. All right, I learned something every day.
What I'm saying is that Hollywood's been doing this shit for 100 years. Douglas Fairbanks played fucking Juan de la Vega, Zorro.
Yeah.
Come on. So the problem is, again, I go back to what the modern day problem is. You're bringing in, our modern problems in our society and trying to teach us. And what's the easiest teach right now? White man bad. It's all how creatively fucking boring is that?
Yeah, right. That's why people reject it. Yeah,
That's why there's so much rejection.
Yeah.
I
mean, I remember watching that Zorro. Was it Zorro in the 70s? Was on TV. Was it a Disney version? I just remember watching it with my grandfather. And God, I love that TV. I was probably like an 8-year-old kid watching it, but I didn't think, oh, this is a Mexican superhero. I thought, oh, this guy is as cool as shit, Zorro, right? And I didn't even know, the relation to Batman in terms of, the character Batman than, seeing the movie Zorro. It was too little, but I just remember loving that. I think it was a 70s version of Zorro TV movie, I guess. I think maybe it was a Disney version, but God, I just love that character, right? Especially as a kid too, you have no concept of race or ethnicity, when you're very little.
Right. But that being said, when you start getting older, you're, at least for me, then I noticed, brown characters keep playing the same criminals, right? It's like, what's going on, but I like it. Like I like the character, or I like the performance. So it was amazing. It was kick ass. You pick up on little things like that. That's why for me, and I'm not speaking for anyone else, it was great to see La Bamba, because it was like, wow, look at this like true to life person who it came from the same background as I did and did something awesome, cool. So people like Tom, to myself, can get something out of that same film and then get other things from it. As far as and Tommy's more Mexican than a lot of people think. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows the Chicano culture.
I can't speak a lick of it though.
Yeah, So I think it's great. I think it's all great to talk about, to agree, disagree.
Yeah.
All that shit, man. Well,
that's what I was saying with, like, as a young kid, like I didn't, not knowing Zorro was a Mexican superhero, but maybe if you're older, maybe you want to, if you have that heritage, you'd root for him more. But you just that was true to the character, right? They didn't.
Well, it's not. It's how, if okay, let me put it this way. It's layered, like they're real people, so you pick up on the authenticity. Like we can smell it. If it's a terrible, like the Disney's National Treasure that they try to redo with a Latina lead.
Yeah,
it's terrible. The actress was fine. She's quite lovely. I hope she does. Hope she gets work. But it was such a horrible, stupid presentation.
I never watched it. Yeah,
And then I guess she's undocumented. I mean, where do I begin? And it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
there's nothing. To me, that is a great example of a old white liberal writer. That was her wet dream, was to write this, was to do this.
It sounds like it was a self-insert.
And I'm going to save the brown people with this national treasure. No Nick Cage. No.
No cameo. Yeah.
Fucking, man,
well, like saving lives, like the Eternals did, right?
Saving lives. There you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Eric. Yeah, Sean Connery played a Spaniard in Highlander, right? And they didn't they kind of explain away his accent a little bit with just living all over the world, or wasn't he lived in originated in Egypt, I think, too? Well, I can't remember now.
Well,
yeah, they're remaking Highlander now again.
But you know what was funny was that when did Highlander come out? When did that come out? Like
that was
86, 85, somewhere in there. Yeah.
So I was 16, Tom, right? And I was a little more self-aware. I was like, reading up about some different aspects of history that was happening here in the States. I was like, man, what's up? And so when I saw Highlander, which I love still love to this day,
all-time great movies, yeah.
And
there's no sequel.
And I saw Sean Connery and his Ramirez. What?
I'm a Spaniard.
But then he said when they were about to train, and he said to Christopher Lambert, who's got his own weird accent.
Yeah, French guy.
He said, "Okay, now, pendejo." I'm like, what? I know that word. What?
And what does that mean for those of us who didn't remember anything from the 2 years of Spanish they had in 8th grade, ninth grade?
You don't teach pendejo in Spanish.
Okay, you don't teach
Spanish. Okay. It's a bad word.
That's a bad word. Okay,
but it's such a fun word.
Go to confession next week.
Pendejo. It's such a fun word, and the fact that he said it while he's speaking English in his heavy accent, Scottish accent, it meant the world to me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just so freaking out of this world. Hey, pendejo, you have a lot to learn. I was like, nah, man, this is just too good.
And I got to correct something. I guess Shaft was black in the original novel. The movie, they were planning on making him white. And then they changed their mind. But then, of course, if you think about it, because if they hadn't, we wouldn't have blaxploitation films. So, yeah.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, Eric K. So yes, not a nice word. It is not a nice word. Yeah. No. All right. I won't ask anyone.
But what was so great about that moment? He wasn't being mean and putting down Lambert. He was saying it endearingly, and we do that. No seas pendejo. Like. Don't be like
Kinda
that.
Like we'd say, hey, shithead, how you doing?
Exactly. He's like, no, listen, asshole.
Yeah, basically means asshole as far as I know.
Okay, yeah. But those are nice little character moments too when they throw that in with the writing.
Could it be kind of interchangeable with like smartass too in that respect?
It's all interchangeable, right? And it's not like at that age I was looking for it, but I was just like, wow, that was odd and fun. And then La Bamba came out, and then that meant everything to me. And I took family members to see it and all that stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, Gap is saying it means that. All right. So now I know when I hear that word, if someone yells that to me, then I'll know what it means. Yeah. So because I did have Spanish for 3 years. Yeah, and the Spanish just disappeared from my brain. The French kind of stuck with me because my dad and his relatives speaking it, but I just lost all my Spanish. It was bad, yeah. But yeah, that's why we want to see these characters be well written. As Raquel would always say, the didactic, characters where you're it's just they're writing the message. They've got the message, and then they're flipping the characters and match that message, and they don't really care about the story or having a universal story, like Star Trek Disgracery, when at the end of the season they've got the politician from Georgia, who's the head of the whole federation, Stacey Abrams, and you're just like, they're putting that in as an FU to anyone who might be conservative. It's like, why are you going there? You don't need to piss off, half your market. So that kind of stuff just and it's so out that they think they're being so clever, right? And you're not. It's just
so everyone's giving examples in the chat, right? Of for lack of a better word, white actors playing all these different ethnicities, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's great, especially when they rocked it. With the in the being when I was in the business in the 90s, the roles and the opportunities for if you weren't Eddie Olmos, if you weren't very small group, they were all gangbangers, all the roles, or the lawnmower guy. They're terrible, and they weren't like very well written like stuff. Terrible storylines, the whole thing. So when you saw a positive portrayal of a Latino not being played by a Latino actor, it's like, man, it's like we can't get a break as a working actor, right? You can't even get a break, but then you do. It's the business is they really don't. The business doesn't really care, right? If you rise to the top and you convince people and you're kicking ass, then you're now it's actually a very different story. You're seeing a lot of really good actors, Oscar Isaac, Jenna Ortega, playing out of their ethnicity. Thank God. I think it's great because everyone should be able to do that. Now that's different than something like like what we're talking about, like when you're casting, when you're making a political statement with your creative decisions, like casting Anne Boleyn, African American, UK
as the queen, as the Queen of England, yeah.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that's where I go back to when you're hitting the drum so hard, right? It's like, no, race swap, It's like, well, wait a minute. There's different takes to this. I'm with you, but there's plenty of examples that I gave where it can work, and it has worked. But what I'm talking about is those things that I'm with you guys is those examples of making the political statements. I'm not into that. I think I've been very consistent with my channel. You know what I mean? And I let different opinions in on the channel as well. I don't shut down my guests and stuff like that as far as their opinions.
Yeah, no, you want to have open discussion, right? That's what we're here on YouTube for, to hang out with everyone, and we're here to talk about stuff and have a good time. But we can't always agree too on everything either, because it'd be freaking boring. I mean, I love politics. I'm a political nut. I'm kind of like a Michael, P. Keaton character growing up. Always on, I was on a debate team, but I kind of sometimes want to get away from politics too. So, like, I always mention my dad on the show. Like, I agreed with him. Like, it was boring sometimes to talk about politics with them, because we agreed on most things. It was more fun to like find something that you disagreed with and not be nasty or angry about it. But that kind of stuff was always more interesting, or like really try to find out why someone thought the way they thought. And sometimes they'd be like, "Oh, well, Reagan sucks. He sucks." I'm like, "Well, what is oh, because he just sucks. He's an actor. Like, well, you got to give me something more than that to go on, right? So that's when, translating that to like pop culture or, these movies or characters or actors, damn it, give me a reason why you like that character or don't like it or it doesn't follow the comic book. Like Jed mentioned a long time ago, yeah, give me the first 12 issues of the Thunderbolts, and that's some of the best comics I've written. And I mentioned that early in the show. And modern day comics, God, those Thunderbolts, that first start of the Thunderbolts was phenomenal. Yeah, go grab that in a trade paperback, but you're not getting that in this Thunderbolts movie. But I did like the characterizations, and Bucky really had the best in the theater. I think he had the best reaction, probably the character with the most gravitas when Bucky came on the screen. And then he attacks the Jeeps or and he takes out 3 Jeeps. Then he takes out the Red Guardian's huge ridiculous limo. But he had probably the best reaction, the best gravitas. But he's a well-written character, right? You got that Winter Soldier. Damn, what a great history there, and they screwed him up.
I had to. My critique of Thunderbolts was that it was a very good frozen dinner that I like to get. I'll reorder, but it's a frozen dinner.
It's not A list, right? Yeah, it's not.
It's like those frozen dinners that you like, and you get a couple of them, and you put them in the freezer as a backup.
And you're like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that again. And I look at the salt content,
and that's the problem is it's got the Marvel name on it, so it's like. It goes back to just letting creatives be creative, man. This guy can direct. This guy's a really good director, I thought. That wasn't the problem. You got you have corporate, you got it's just corporate writing, a committee, storytelling by committee. I mean, you can fucking tell, man. Yeah, people are like saying, I know, enchiladas, burritos, tacos, that's it. That's my Spanish. I'm like, now I'm getting hungry.
Well, hey, who wants to see some quick food photos, right? Why don't we do let's see what we had for dinner tonight, right? Because we always do. And of course, Clobber Times made this for me. The Sunday Night Eatery. We'd always joke about food. So so that's our eatery. And of course, Gwagnar did this great thing, joking about the clam pizza. So let's show let's show a little bit of food from the weekend. So we always get everyone hungry here, right? And not that I need to eat too much, but I shouldn't be eating so much. But here, let's do some eatery right here. So this was this is a good sandwich. This is a local sandwich shop in town, and
oh my god,
they make great sandwiches. The Russian black bread.
Is that chopped cabbage or just chopped lettuce?
Chopped lettuce, but they chop it really not. It's cut up nicely cut. Yeah,
with mayo and some kind of sauce.
And this one I don't know if they had a. Sometimes they do a horseradish sauce. Well, they put that on there. Yeah, so this good sandwich. Yeah, so you got.
Yeah. I gotta be good. Because I'm gonna have a peanut butter and jelly when I get off.
Yeah.
But this is making me want to pull out all my ingredients.
Make a good sandwich. So who's gonna make this guy? Yeah. And of course, last week I wasn't on the Geekery because I did have a minor visit with Dr. McCoy. So I do have AFib. So public service announcement: if you don't feel good, go get checked out. So my heart was, my watch was happy because for about 4 or 5 days, my heart rate was going at 150. So the doctor had me, I was on some meds to keep your heart rate down and, waiting. But so I've been trying to get back into shape, but I've had it for a while, and who knows why the hell it happened. So I'm glad to be back this week. So I want to, people were, thank you everyone.
We're glad too. We need you healthy, buddy.
So trying to get there, but we're working out and doing some things, but you just don't know why you get this. So
well, let's talk off air. Let's see how we can do to help you out with some healthy stuff.
That'd be good.
You know, I'm training. Yeah, I'm training Mexican Iron Man. I train Loki. I train Nick from Echo Base now, as well as my other in-person clients. I mean, you know, we'll talk. We'll talk, brother.
We'll talk. Yep. Sounds good. Yep. As I'm showing a freaking low, but this was for the scouts, so we just I love
right,
just
man.
that. No, that's all right. Yeah, well, anything in moderation.
I had
so,
yeah. We'll talk about that. See, the thing is that I just thanks. Yeah, let's just talk about food. We'll talk about food.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah. We're having
on
fun
the
with
food
the food
note. I'm gonna head out.
Go.
You're gonna go get a cheeseburger.
Well, I already ate, but I gotta get some shit done around here. So,
what did you eat?
I had a brat burger and what did I have on the side now? I don't even remember. Oh, cheese sticks, like breadsticks, and then I had my mom makes like this sponge cake thing, and so I take that and I took like strawberries and blueberries and threw that on with some whipped cream, and so it's like a strawberry shortcake kind of thing, but it's more of a sponge cake.
Nice.
So I had a bunch of shit that you're gonna go, you shouldn't be eating all that. And I had a sugar-free strawberry juice for my drink.
Well, I love you, Tom. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoy your food. I'm gonna be nice to you tonight with that stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
That was
Tom,
actually fairly healthy compared to what I usually eat, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna share when you have a minute. I'm gonna share what I ate today.
All right. Oh, definitely.
All right. Well, I'll let you guys get into the foodery stuff.
Come out. I'll see you tomorrow.
Take care, guys.
Thanks,
have a good
Tom.
night.
Yep. Take care.
Night, Tom.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Yeah. So RJ, 150. Yeah. So just for AFib. So yeah, just a PSA. If you don't feel good, go get checked out, right? But the scary thing with AFib, I always know when I have, and I have a watch. Now I had it first time I had it was in Disney World with my family in 2008, which was scary. And I'm like, I was there with my mom and my dad, and my kids were 3, 5, and 6 at the time. But I'm like, I'm not going to the medical, tent. I'm not going to do it. And my mom's like, I'm calling the EMTs right now. You're going to get checked out. So if you ever don't feel well, just get that checked out. Don't let things go. Because AFib, the scary thing is you can have a stroke with AFib.
Guys, yeah. And men are very stubborn.
Yep.
And depending on where we're at mentally, it can just really be to our detriment. Go get help, seek help, ask for help. You're not alone. I repeat, you're not alone.
Yeah, because if you have that if you feel something's out of whack, then get checked out. So
what is this?
So these are the regular hamburgers. Then we went to the butcher shop. My buddy Rich went to the butcher shop and got like prime ground beef, like for the dads. So he got 4 hamburgers
with
just salt and pepper on these. Yep.
Okay.
Salt and pepper. Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yep. But good stuff. So those burgers were light years ahead of these are the Costco whatever burgers. But and then the girls troop was they made chicken parm. So, and I'm like the troop photographer too. So I always take a lot of pictures, but yeah, they did a really nice job. And then one of their dads, one of their groups made chicken and pasta and tomato salad. Yep.
Yeah.
Good and healthy stuff. Yep. So, and camping,
I did a whole bunch of angel hair this past week. And then once we were out of the meat sauce I made, you can summarize it, so what I mean by that, you can separately saute some veggies, right? Put some garlic in there, and then when they're nice and sauteed and ready you think they're ready, throw in the pasta. It heats up the pasta, but then everything's getting cooked and juiced together. That's a nice little summer pasta, just like this. So I had peppers in there, man. And then the last thing you add is chop up some tomatoes and throw it in there.
Yeah.
So it can get a little torched a little bit. Man, those great leftovers.
Yeah, because what's good when you cook this, when my friend cooked the pasta too, you have it with the sauce and it absorbs all that flavor. So that's really really
exactly.
nice. Yeah, when you cook it
exactly.
like that.
Saucepan.
Yeah, you put the pasta in together. So there was like a cooking competition for like main meal. Yep, to see what you could cook. Yep. Oh, this is sushi. My wife went out.
Oh,
Yep,
nice.
some really good sushi. Yep, I think that was in Brooklyn. Yep. So she had a couple pictures of the sushi. Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was good. I got a couple pieces of that as leftovers. Yeah, that was really good. Yep.
Wow.
Yep. So that was good. And then tonight my brother-in-law, we bought prime some good
boy.
steak here. Yep. So we had all the grandkids over with mom and the two grandmas were over, and almost all that steak went. Yep. So
I'm gonna get. We're gonna get some kosher food, but we're gonna grill Friday. Cameron's coming over. We're gonna do the live stream with Cameron Pasha, and then we're gonna grill right afterwards.
Oh, great! Yeah.
Yeah, that's this Friday coming up.
This Friday. Okay, everyone,
we're gonna live stream from my backyard. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
And what time is that? Your usual time, or is it gonna be
the
different?
3 p.m. Pacific,
3 p.m. Right? Yeah.
6 p.m. Eastern time. It's every Friday with Cameron.
Yeah, the usual time. Yep.
Ooh, yeah.
So
tell me, so you're gonna grill these, or you grill them?
These are all grilled. Yep, all grilled. Yep. And
Is
there's
that-
some asparagus hiding under the bottom there.
Is this pre-grill? This is
before the grill. Before they're going on the grill. Yep. So there's on the grill. Yep. So got that going.
Oh man.
So there's off the grill. Yep.
Ooh.
I'm getting everyone's getting
good.
There's nothing like a good cook. Gotta say.
Lisa's in love. Oh yeah.
And not overcooked. I know there's some fans out there that like fans of that overcooked. I call it overcooked, but yeah. And then we also did. You put garlic. Cut the top of the garlic off. You can pour a little bit of olive oil on the top of the garlic. Wrap it in tinfoil and put that on the grill. And especially the elephant garlic is really good to do that with the big cloves. And it doesn't have that real tangy. It's a little bit milder, the elephant garlic. So that's a great way to enjoy some garlic. Or you put it on your garlic bread, or your bread, and then you have it that way, or just on your dish. Yep, this is my wife's macaroni salad. She put chickpeas in there. I hate chickpeas, but and then I didn't take.
They're good for you, man.
I know they're good for you. I just don't like I know that's hummus and yeah. So. But,
man, I had gotten some pita chips this week with garlic hummus spread, but it was very whipped, so it wasn't like your regular hummus, like thick and heavy.
Okay.
Oh my god,
that was good. Yeah. Yes. Well, we ate at a Mediterranean. We got Mediterranean takeout for my daughter. Had moved to a new place in Brooklyn, and normally I'm not a fan of hummus. And they had this hummus that they made that was like, it was light like that, Paulie. Yeah, it was like really good. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was,
So, our local corner market has real good products they get. It's a little expensive, but that garlic spread was absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Peas are evil. Yeah. So this was a good. So we had some good healthy stuff. Yeah. I'm not a fan of peas myself either, but I like them in Chinese food. I can have them, but and then we cooked Brussels sprouts on the grill.
Yeah,
too.
Brussels sprouts. I love all that, man. I love all that. You throw some butter in there or what?
I think we just did olive oil on that one. Yep.
Olive oil.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Little salt and pepper and olive oil.
Salt and pepper. Yes, keep it simple, but that's some of the best stuff. And then my son actually likes Brussels sprouts now too. We can't believe it. Like as the kids get older, then we're joking taste changes. Yeah.
Yep.
So let me show, and then we'll show Paulie some. Let me pull over Eric's meats here. Eric sent some really good stuff here. Let me open this and let's see. Let me click on this here. Yep, and pull this over. So we got.
Look at that!
Wow. Nice, Eric. Is that the new grill that you got, Eric? Was that your new pellet grill? Let me open this new tab. Let's see. Open a new tab. Did that? Oh, let me grab this. I've got to open image a new tab. So Eric is an expert chef too on the grill. So always makes us drool. Yep. let me grab these. Open these up in new tab.
Yes,
there,
it's a new grill. He says.
Oh, the new grill. Awesome. Yep. So it looks like it's working out pretty good. Yep. So what is this a? Is that a pork chop? No, it's a pork chop. Is that a huge?
What is
that? Eric? That's not a rib. No, that can't be a rib. It'd be a whole rack, right? Let's see here. And then here's some more stuff on the grill.
Dang,
it looks like a turkey leg.
That looks country style pork rib. Ooh.
Oh, country style pork rib. All right. Thank you.
Eric K's. I'm almost, yeah. Wow.
Good stuff. Yep. Glad the new grill is working out. Yep. Yeah. And then here's the plate. Yep. Another plate. Yep. Well, that looks nice and healthy too. Good stuff. Yep. Good stuff. Yep. And Jeffrey says, yeah, you can't open a new tab until you've drunk the last one down. Yep. All right. Well, thank you for sending that over, Eric. Okay, yep, that looks good.
Thanks,
yep.
Eric.
So let's put up what Paulie had today. Yep.
Yeah, this is a local chain. The original one has been around since 1946, and then until very recently it started franchising. And it only had one location here in LA. So the quality was just incredible. And when me and Romy started dating, she took me there. This was like one of my first visits, like 10 years ago. And it was always our little spot. Then they closed for a while, then they reopened right after COVID. And I'm glad the lady got her deal, man, because I know her and her family that ran it, that made it so special. They went through some personal loss before COVID. Then COVID happened. And I'm glad that she got some financial success with it. So anyways, this is what you wanted for Mother's Day.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's one of her favorites, obviously. Yep.
Yeah. So she had the original roadside single burger with everything on it, and an extra side of onion rings.
Oh, I love onion rings. Yeah.
I had, let me see. Sandwiches.
Oh, wow. Look at those sandwiches. Look at that pastrami sandwich.
Man, I don't do too well lately with the melted cheese because it just really plays on my belly. So I know
cheese you're not getting the grilled cheese yet.
we did get an extra order
of fries, man.
Cheese fries, chili cheese fries, onion rings.
Need a fork for those, yeah.
But the quality is just excellent. And I didn't get the shake. I've had the shake there before. Just badass.
Oh, do they have a peanut butter shake there? Oh no, Oreo shake. Okay,
the Oreo. I was root beer floats. I was really good with. I had ice cream here, so I saved it.
So they just have the one location. That's it. It's just
no. They now have like quite a few.
Okay.
I don't think they're locations. San Diego, LA. I was at the La Brea one. Here's the original one, the West Hollywood one. That's the original one.
Okay.
Because it was a little stand. So yeah, they got one in Vegas.
7. Okay, Vegas. There goes Steve Mitchum. If you're still there, you can check it out. Yeah.
Okay, Steve. Yeah. Anyone in Vegas and San Diego. But yeah, that's what we had today. They had a new one called the Beast Burger. That's what I got. So
is that like a triple quadruple burger?
No, it was a single patty, but it's bigger.
Bigger, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's herbs. And then she told me not to No, look at that. Oh,
Yeah, I like the website too. They did a nice job
yeah,
with
this
the
is
animation there.
killer website.
Killer website.
Very
Yeah,
fancy, but also
Give me
kind
that
of like
cheese at home.
retro, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, that was
she
the
said,
first McDonald's, right? It was in the 35 cent or 25 cent
yeah, I wish those were the
hamburger cheeseburger.
prices. These are
Yeah.
prices. But she said don't make any other stops because she had somewhere to go because I wanted to get her flowers too. So I ended up buying her an Irv's Burger baseball cap,
There you
which
go.
she loved. She looked so cute in it. So yeah, man, that was it.
That looks great. Yeah, no, that looks awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I ever head out that way, I'll check
Yeah.
it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you love that. Oh, like they just do burger, like simple things but quality, and you
Right.
taste the difference, right? So
Yeah, and it's not like obviously it's not like a McDonald's chain, so there's still some QC
Yeah.
there, you know.
Yeah, they care about their stuff. Yeah, McDonald's actually. I haven't had a McDonald's burger in forever, but they were getting hammered by all the by everyone in terms of the quality, right? Because that was a big thing about McDonald's. You could travel, especially like we were, traveling with the family. As a kid, like mom and dad, it's clean, it's neat, and you know what you're getting. The prices are cheap, but then the way they were cooking the burgers, people hated the McDonald's hamburger. So I think they've been doing some quality control to try to improve how so the burgers aren't as dried out and taste as horribly. But that's why In-N-Out and all these Five Guys are doing so well.
Yeah, and so that location that we went to, right down the street is Trejo's Tacos, because Danny Trejo is franchised.
Yeah,
and so it's a very popular road. So it's a great location. Trejo's Tacos. He's got the chicken fried burrito. Oh my god, so good, so good, guys. But Trejo started his first spot was Trejo's Donuts. Right?
Coffee or just donuts?
Coffee and donuts, but
Coffee
it's like done up donuts, like creative style. And then the swag for let me look it up. Let me find it.
Now, is he there? Can you see him there once in a while, or is he?
He used to be.
He seems a very friendly guy. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Check this out, buddy.
Okay. Yep. Let me get to that. Yep. Let's see here. Yep. Let me get back to my tab here. Yep. There we go.
They're at Trejo's Donuts.
Coffee and donut. Now, what does he say? Like, why did he do? He must love donuts or something about donuts that he. I'm guessing.
I don't know the story. I just know.
Yeah.
They'll have what do you call it? Creative donuts.
Yeah, like the donuts almost
menu. Oh, here we go.
Like pastry, right? Yeah. The
Here
donuts almost like pastry to begin with.
Look at these things, man.
Yeah, and I've just put on some weight. I love the simple donut too. Like I got to say, like sometimes I rarely get donuts and coffee.
Well,
Usually I just make coffee. But sometimes I'll get like just the plain Dunkin' Donut.
Oh, I love Dunkin' Donuts, man. But look, horchata buttercream donut. What?
Oh wow, there you go.
Oh my god. So they'll have the OGs, like you said, but then they'll have the abuela,
the fancy,
the quinceañera, the maple pig.
Oh, with is that bacon on there?
That's bacon, man.
That's got to be good. Yeah.
Good Lord. I've had the cherry bomb. Critters. I've had the berry bomb. Very good.
Good stuff. Yep. Cinnamon roll. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Then you have the vegan donuts. You're in LA.
They got to have vegan donuts, right?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Vegan Coco Loco. Yeah.
Yeah. Vegan Coco Loco. That's funny. But then his merchandise sells big time. Like a couple of years ago, I bought Tom a Trejo's hoodie. His merchandise sells like gangbusters.
Well, everyone loves the guy, right? I mean, and no one wants to mess with him, right? He's got that. I'm sure he's probably like like a super nice guy, but
yeah. And then you got the Los Angeles on down the thing. That's $70. Good Lord. But yeah, he's merchandise himself, franchise himself very
Smart.
well.
Yeah. Machete Maple says RobAltis.
Yeah, Machete Maple. Machete don't do donut. Machete don't text.
Don't mess with that. Yeah. I remember when he was on the. Do you ever catch him on the Flash TV show when he was playing one of the characters? He was playing the father of one of the younger characters. It was time traveling. Yeah, he was so good in it because one of the guys on the Flash. He was trying to hit on this girl who was obviously very cute, and Danny Trejo turns out to be her father.
Turns out to be the dad.
The dad.
Oh, you know what? You guys, I was on another screen, man.
Oh, we could see the donuts, yeah.
No, I was on the merchandise.
Oh, the merch. Oh, the merch. Oh, we didn't see the merch.
Here we go.
Yeah. There we go. Okay.
All right,
Here's
go.
the merch. Yeah.
There's the merch.
Oh no, it just disappeared.
What? Oh, did I kill it?
You killed it.
Oh my God. Wait,
sorry, we are professional YouTubers here.
Let's try one more time, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
There we go. Yeah. There we go.
There we go. So this is what I was talking about. I got Tom this a couple of years ago. This hoodie.
That's cool.
Let me see. Make sure you see. Yeah. Okay. You guys are with me?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then this T-shirt's pretty dope.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. But yeah, these sell like gangbusters.
There's tacos, yeah, with the plant. Yeah, that's the plant words there. Yeah.
But he's done very well.
And does he have more? He must have more than one location, probably, right?
I have so many windows open that I can't.
Oh, you click. It clicks on. You click you click the X. The thing's too small, and you hit the X back. Yeah, I hate it when I do that. Yeah.
You want me to bring it back up, or are you good?
Sure, no. If you want to show it for a second, yeah. Did we get all the merch? Yep. And I guess you probably can buy this online too. I'm guessing, right? You probably can.
Yeah, and I had bought this I bought the hoodie a few years ago for Tom online.
Yeah, you don't have to be in California. You don't have to be in one of them. I'm guessing they'll ship this stuff out. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like big business.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're
look, he's got.
Is that vodka or
what is it? Whiskey
or
tequila?
Yeah, tequila is the hot.
And then he's got a new. Looks like it's a new hot sauce.
All right.
Crazy, man.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times people have, you grow up cooking, right? Or you got recipes that are in the family, and you're passing that down too. So,
yeah.
Some of my, grandmothers, like Mom, do you have a grandma's recipe for Italian, for bread? And the thing was, it was never really written down because she just kind of threw stuff in and kind of measure and then taste things it's sometimes you want to get those family recipes written down. Yeah. And Oliver's asking me, what donut franchise do you mostly go to? Mr. Donut, Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme, or Jake? I'm not sure what JCO is, or JCO. Most of the time I go to Dunkin' Donuts, but rarely do I ever get a donut. Usually I'll just bless you.
Excuse me, bro.
Usually, no worries. Yep. Usually I've been so stingy now. We got one of these nice coffee machines at home, so I'll just make coffee at home and put in my to-go cup. And sometimes what I'll do, I'll get a latte or something. I'll get an ice latte, but I don't do no sugar, no I can't have caffeine, and I cut out all the sugar. But sometimes I'll do that for a treat. But this stuff is so damn expensive. So Dunkin' Donuts is usually the go-to. Starbucks is that's expensive too. What do you do for your coffee, Paulie? You do
no, I make it here, but me and my mom went to Yum Yum Donuts the other day. That was really good. That's a chain.
That's a chain, yeah.
Yeah. And Dunkin' Donuts sometimes. There's actually a Dunkin' Donuts drive-through pretty close by. Yeah. But I haven't been there in a while. And and there's a Krispy Kreme one, yeah, as well. The Krispy Kreme ones are really sweet, man.
They are sweet. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
almost a little too much for me now. The Yum Yum's really nice. I'm a sucker for buttermilk, old-fashioned glazed buttermilks.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I like apple crisp donuts. That's my good apple ones.
Yeah, so the local market, the corner one that I have, they have fresh pan dulce twice a week. So that, when I'm feeling a little indulgent, I'll go and get 2 pieces with I'll make the coffee here. Man, you ever had Mexican sweetbread?
No.
Pan dulce? What?
Never had that. No. Never had that. Yeah. No. Invite me over.
God.
Never had it. Yeah.
Sacrilegious there.
Yeah, but so you don't get exposed to certain things, right? I mean, it's just you have local things, and you just miss out on them too. Like, we always joke about the clam pizza here because I love clam pizza. People are like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell would eat clam pizza? But in New Haven and Connecticut, it's like a popular it's a popular thing. But they're like, I've never had that. But it sounds awesome. Love to try
it. Man, I'm telling you. It's that's so I'll have that more than I'll have donuts.
More than yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother stream. But I'm like on running on fumes, so I better take off.
Yeah, we better. I was just gonna thank my channel members, but I know you're thank our channel members. But let's say goodbye to Paulie and thank you for being here. We had a spirited discussion night, or if you can hang out for 5 minutes, we'll always thank channel members if you want to talk quick after the stream. Is that okay? Or you got to get it?
Sure.
Yeah. So why don't we I'll
be right back. I'll be right back.
Yeah, be right back. Yeah, I'm gonna thank all the channel members. So so I do try to avoid the God, I love donuts. But who doesn't like donuts, right? But let's thank the channel members. Of course, I want to thank Deadman tonight with 3 super chats, which was God, thank you, Deadman, much appreciated. And I think we had some requests for the nerds. I haven't played nerds yet, so let's play nerds. Let's see here. Where's my nerds?
Superman. Would you like some toast? Some nice hot crisp brown buttered toast.
Get those nerds! Nerds! What?
nerds. All right. So thank you so much for those super chats tonight, Deadman. And yeah, thank you everyone in the chat. Yeah, we had a great crowd tonight, and great discussion. So let me thank, of course, the channel members that help out so much keeping the lights on here. And in no particular order, let me thank Wes Cagle, Professor R2, Philip Story, Dadman, and Dadman was here earlier, so hail to Dadman. And let's see, Metalorian, Stark of Iron, Nick Weiser, Shooter, DJ Ronnie G, RobAltis, RRTNZ, Max Redstone, Christian Delorme, 70s Rock Fan, Dave C, Interviewer of Jill, JT Kirk, and Eric K. Thank you, Eric K, and Brian Hepburn. So thank you so much, everyone. Really appreciate you guys that spend some of your hard-earned money and sending that to support the channel. And if you can't, God, that's okay. Of course, just love you guys being here and sharing the stream, liking the stream, and much appreciated. I thought I'd show real quick. This was my Slimer. I should have shown. I'll have to show this to Tom. I'll be doing a quick video on this, and I think Slimer came out pretty good. So he looks pretty slimy there. So we had fun painting that with the airbrush and getting Slimer all slimy. So that was one of my latest 3D prints. So got some stuff in the works. I've got a Terminator and a Arnold Schwarzenegger version of the Terminator I'm working on. So look for some videos on that. So and thank you, JT Kirk, for saying, thanks everyone for hanging out tonight. We appreciate seeing you all here at the end of your weekend. Yeah, so of course, happy Mother's Day to everyone, all the moms out there that are so special, and God, where would we be without our moms there? So, oh, thank you, Lisa said Slimer looks great. Yep. And yeah, it's just sometimes you take things for granted, and yeah, just it's nice to be able to thank mom and thank those moms out there that go the extra mile for us. So yeah, it's just a special day, and sometimes you take things for granted. I'm just speaking for me, and I know sometimes I take things for granted, and got to kick myself. And I have a wonderful mom who's very special and always looking out for me. So thanks, mom. So, oh, and Lenron says that Slimer is dope. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was came out. He came out good. Yep. So he's gonna go stuff himself with some hot dogs now. But thank you so much. Yep, thank you, Lisa. So yeah, there's just too many people to thank in the chat tonight. But let's see who's still active in the chat. So thank you, Donnie, RobAltis, Oliver, Masgrave, Lisa, Lenrod, JT Kirk, Jed, and Brian Hepburn. And also want to thank, of course, the great Steve Mitchum, Vegas Thor, and Tom for being here earlier. I started off the show, no co-host, but glad, and Paulie, of course, awesome to have Paulie hang out. Made a great show tonight. Great show. So
yeah, it was fun.
Really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. So
I'm eating.
You're eating donuts. Yeah. All right, and as Eric says, good night, everyone. Take care. All right, so
Eric.
Jeffrey, you didn't come up as Jeff is a real world friend who I grew up with. Friend said, "I guess I'm chopped liver." You're not chopped liver, but you didn't come up as active participants. You know me, Jeff. I forget things, right? So yeah, I'll see you next week, maybe, Jeff. Right? All right, Jonathan here too. All right, we're out of here, guys. And thank you to the Geek and I for your the Sunday Night Geekery theme. And Paulie, I should ask you. You got your Monday show. Who's your guest?
We've got a great guest tomorrow. Okay, I'm on every Monday, right after Midnight's Edge. We roll right into it. We're gonna have great topics. We're gonna look at. There's a first look at Tila. They got some.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
On the set, photos of Tila. She looks great. We'll talk about that. Karate Kid Legends has been released with Jackie Chan in Latin America.
Oh,
got reaction.
Oh, wow.
And then my guess is Exhibitor Relations Company, the guy that runs it. And if you follow him, he's like a box office support, like the numbers, like that's their company, Exhibitors Relation Co. And he used to do a weekly audio show on X, and he stopped. I'm like, dude, you're so good. What happened? I don't know what. Come on Slant, because I love talking box office numbers. So he's coming tomorrow for the first time. He's gonna be our first time.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and I'm really excited because he really covers the box office incredibly.
It breaks it down for you. Trends, what this means. And,
so we're gonna
do some T-Bolt stuff probably, and
T-Bolt. Then one minute, like what's your predictions for the rest of the year? All that stuff.
Yep.
So
sounds interesting.
I'm very excited to have him on.
Yep. So don't miss that. So that's 3 p.m. California time, Pacific time.
Tomorrow is 11:30 a.m. right after Midnight's Edge.
Yep, that's the early
one. And gringos are welcomed.
Yeah,
but we love everybody. We love everybody.
But bring food. Yep. All right, everyone, and thank you, RK, for posting those links there.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, have fun storming the castle. We'll catch you on the next Geekery.
Fun storming the castle.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.